Pac-12 football is brought to you by Bank of the West. Back in the Bay Area, the Cal Bears, after a successful road trip on the road to Texas, winning in Austin, winning in Seattle against the Washington Huskies last weekend. Look at them. They're 4-0. They're ranked 24th in the country today. They take on the Washington State Cougars, of course, with their head coach in his fourth year, Mike Leach. Sonny Dykes in his third year with California. They have crossed paths before. They will match wits this afternoon. Trevor Davis is waiting along with Khalfani Mohammed as Eric Powell gets into this one. And they kick it to Davis deep in the end zone, and he'll take a knee, and it'll be a touchback, and they'll bring it to the 25-yard line. So the Cougars go right at Davis, but he is forced to touch a knee. Let's take a look at our Reese's Perfect Combination.
Well, you can pick from a variety of players, but keep an eye on Kenny Lawler and Bryce Treggs. Bryce Treggs is in the slot. He's going to be going up against linebackers, average defensive backs from an athletic standpoint, and Kenny Lawler, he's a freak on the outside. I think the best receiver in the entire country with what he can do when the ball's in the air.
Daniel Lasco is in the backfield for the Cal Bears, and Goff has trips to the left on first down to get this ball game underway. Settles in, flings the ball over the middle. It is complete, and a first down for the Cal Bears. Steven Anderson, the recipient, the senior, with 13 catches on the year.
Well, it's a challenge, right? You want to stop Treggs. You want to stop Lawler. Well, Steven Anderson was lined up right next to him. He didn't get a lot of attention. He makes a play first down.
Jared Goff with 64 touchdown passes and holding. One away from setting the Cal record. Throws here to the near boundary, and that one sails incomplete. The intended receiver was Bryce Treggs. Daniel Lasco, the senior, coming off a terrific year last year when he recorded the 12 touchdowns. He's missed the last couple of games. See, already he has done some work this year, but the hip injury, 100%.
Yeah, we saw him practice yesterday. He went through every single rep at full speed. He looks as though he's going to go this afternoon.
Second down and 10 for the Cal Bears. Goff settles in, throws far side. The ball is picked off, intercepted by Washington State, and the Cougars are in business in California territory. The fourth interception of the year to Jared Goff, and it was Marcellus Pippins along with Charleston White who were closing in on that ball. It was Pippins who made the catch from right here in Richmond, California.
Take a look. It's cover two. All right, Marcellus Pippins, you'll see him at the top of your screen. He baits Jared Goff into that interception. It's as though he's going to play the flat, play the wide receiver. He looks as he is and hesitates as he sees Jared Goff dial up the throw to the corner out. He runs to it. To me, this is an incredible job. Look at the patience, look at the eyes, and he baits Jared Goff to a pick. That exact same thing happened week 2 to Jared Goff against San Diego State when we were here. Keep an eye on that throughout the afternoon.
Luke Falk is back to throw. He is crowded. The pocket is full, and he is dragged down at the 50-yard line and is sacked in there by Kyle Cragen, who is the Defensive Player of the Week a week ago in the win over Washington here in the Pac-12.
That's kind of a fun start. Everybody talking about this game was offense. We've got defense to kick the thing off.
Well, we talk so much about the improved defense for both these ball clubs, and we'll get a real test because for the first time this year, both defenses are facing big-time arms. Falk is forced out of the pocket. A flag flies back there near contact at the 45-yard line.
Holding, offense number 58, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Well, Kyle Cragen, he's picked up right where he left off, Pac-12 Player of the Week. You see the offensive line, they're seeing a fierce rush up the field. This is a defensive line for Cal that has shown some depth, and they've got a lot of confidence, and they've played 8 guys throughout this season. They'll roll them through. They want fresh legs. Kyle Cragen, number 13, the reigning Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week from last week.
Third and long now for Washington State. Luke Falk on the air, the 8 touchdowns and interception. This is the #1 passing team in the Pac-12 with over 350 yards per ball game. And a hard rush again. This is James Looney up front, along with Cragen, Jaleel, and Johnson up front, pressuring Washington State, not having any difficulty at all with that offensive line.
Well, when you get pressure up front, that helps. But also when your secondary can actually run with these wide receivers. See Dom Williams and Darius Allensworth, they're playing man-to-man coverage. And Cal, they're confident in their back end. Keep in mind, worst pass defense in America last year. They know that. They know what happened when they play Washington State. They've got a chip on their shoulder.
Zach Charmy, the freshman, on to punt for Washington State. Hard rush, gets this one away. And Trevor Davis will track it down at the 10-yard line. He is surrounded but reverses field. Gets a block to the far side. Working the far hash mark 20. Bounces outside and is knocked out of bounds. Good coverage by Washington State. No score, 1 turnover so far. The Bears get it back when we return.
Welcome back. Now take a look at Washington State's defense on the interception by Jared Goff. If you're a football junkie, you're going to love it. This is called Tampa 2, cover 2. The corner has this part of the field. The safety has that part of the field. You'll see the corner, Marcellus Pippins, fall off the receiver as it's en route, and all of a sudden fade back to that corner route, the area that should have been open for Jared Goff. To me, that's a graduate level play by Marcellus Pippins. Watch that throughout the afternoon.
Here is Davis taking it, slanting to the inside. And a gain there of about 8 yards on the play. Trevor Davis, of course, had a remarkable game against Washington State a year ago with kickoff returns for touchdowns of 98 and 100 yards. 2 touchdowns through the air as well, including the game winner with about 3:18 remaining in the game. Daniel Lasco, very durable, tough runner. Works it off to the right side. The senior, 205 to go with Vic and Wary, who is 6'2", 230 in the backfield, sharing snaps, and of course the quickness of Khalfani Mohammed, coming off a terrific game of 164 yards on the ground against Texas in the win a couple of weeks ago. Trey Watson also will get some run. He is in the backfield now, the 5'10" sophomore. And this one sails over the head, intended for Watson, coming out of the backfield.
Variety of backs. They all have a different skill set. And they're going to rotate them all because they want them to be fresh. But I'll tell you what, number 2, who's coming back onto the field now, he's going to try to play every single snap. He hasn't played in a while, and he's going with the new left tackle today, and Aaron Cochran, the redshirt sophomore. He'll be starting. Brian Farley out with an ankle injury. He got hurt early in the game a week ago at Washington.
2nd and 10 for the Cal Bears. 7 guys with over 20 catches a year ago, and all of them back. Goff's going to pick one of them. And he deals outside to Darius Powell. The senior, 6'3" and 220. What a collection of receivers here between these two clubs. Yogi, you've got about 8 to a dozen really fine elite receivers on both these ball clubs. Here's Lasco gashing across midfield for the first down.
Well, the challenge is, and talking to the defensive staff of Washington State in pregame, I said, how do you prepare for Cal? And he goes, well, it's not similar to us. Everybody thinks the bear raid and the air raid are exact same things. Washington State, they run the ball just to keep it off balance. Cal runs the ball because that's who they want to be. That's their identity. They want 200 yards a game on the ground. That is the goal.
Averaging close to about 182 per game thus far. Goff, the fake, throws far side, ball tipped away. Getting a finger on it was Marcellus Pippins again. The intended receiver was Kenny Lawler. Pippins very close for his 2nd pick of the ball game, the sophomore from right here in the Bay Area.
And Goff's made some questionable reads early on in this ball game, and he's seen a lot of that cover too, where the corners, they're playing near the line of scrimmage. It looks like it's press. You don't know if it's man. You don't know if he's going to drop. You've got to really make post-snap reads when you're going up against an Alex Grinch defense.
2nd and 10 for the Cal Bears. Goff, quick release, far side. Pippins there again to break the ball up. Marcellus Pippins nearly had another pick.
Again, it's that cover 2 look. This does not happen in college football really anywhere anymore. The top of your screen, right? It looks like it's cover 4, a 4th and a 4th, and all of a sudden he drops, and then boom, he jumps, and they're playing cover 2. So again, it's the post-snap reads of Jared Goff that is going to be critical today.
Brings up 3rd and 10. Some miscommunication on the personnel on the field for Washington State, and Goff picks that up and throws here to the near side to Bryce Treggs. Complete for a first down.
Okay, so Yogi, what does post-snap read mean, right? Post-snap means that Jared Goff has to truly go through his progression and read a defense. A lot of times in offensive football this day and age and up-tempo spread offenses, it's just pure progression. It's just 1 to 2 to 3, never reading a defense. Today, Jared Goff has to make sure that he understands what's happening on the other side and mesh it with what they're doing on offense and then be anticipatory with his throws.
Hudson and Anderson wide to the right side. Here's a handoff, moving left to right across the formation. Vic Enwary getting his first touch of the afternoon. 5 rushing touchdowns on the year for Nwaneri, who's so good from 5 yards and in near the goal line.
Well, you have a chance to meet him, and he's just a beast. I mean, he reminds you a little of Royce Freeman in terms of his body type, the running back at Oregon. He is just such a rock of a man, and he's so young. He's only his true sophomore, 6'2", 230. I mean, I think the running back position here is very bright.
2nd and 11. Goff over the middle. Complete. Raymond Hudson, the sophomore, dragged down inside the 30-yard line.
And this is a great example of Jared Goff understanding where pressure is coming from. They bring 5 defenders. They bring pressure to his right. He understands where it's coming from, how the defense rotates, and find Anderson man-to-man coverage against a linebacker.
Offensive line trying to open up a hole here on 2nd and short for Daniel Lasco. Actually, that was 3rd down. Brings up 4th down. It was very close to the chains here for the 1st down. And it appears as if California's going to go for it here on 4th and 1, they're calling it.
Well, this game is, there's not going to be a lot of punts, I don't think, with either one of these offenses.
Cal 6 of 8 this year on 4th down. They give to Lasco, and his first surge is repelled, and he has stood up. And he's going to be well shy of the 1st down.
The problem when you miss games, you're not used to specific situations, short yardage being one of them when you're a running back. Defensive line gets a lot of penetration for Washington State. Nice job by Paulo. But difficulty from Daniel Lasco. Probably wanted to cut this one back. 4th down, big time stop by the Cougs.
Well, Washington State stops Cal on 4th and 1 to take over the football. No score yet here from Cal. Let's take a look at our Reese's perfect combination.
Well, I love when you get to look at a variety of the playmakers on this roster. You're going to see them all afternoon long, and their running backs and the wide receivers. To me, Gerard Wicks, keep an eye on him. Then, of course, River Craycraft. They're 2 explosive players in this offense. Wicks, he catches the ball in the backfield all afternoon long, already 14 grabs on the season. And, of course, River Craycraft, he is Mr. 3rd down. I think the most precise route runner in the Pac-12.
After a Keith Harrington run of about 5, Washington State will set up. Luke Falk from Logan, Utah. Back to throw. Fires over the middle. Had some mustard on this one, and it's complete into Cal territory. John Thompson, the junior from Bethel High School in Spanaway, Washington, with the catch.
Luke Falk has such a calm demeanor about him. It's only his 7th game ever starting in his entire collegiate career, but because he played last year, we just think that he's this savvy veteran, and he's grown throughout the season. They've kind of shortened up the playbook on him, allowed him to just really make decisions.
This is Harrington. He is chopped down at the 45-yard line behind the line of scrimmage, but a flag on the play.
Illegal formation, too many players in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
And that one's on Falk, and he knows it. You know, the quarterback position, you got a lot you got to handle, but those silly penalties, they're inexcusable at times, specifically when you're getting a little momentum on the offense.
Yogi mentioned Falk came in for Connor Halliday after he broke his leg in November in a game against USC. Falk came into that ball game. His numbers were good, and then started the remaining 3 games of the year. He is scanning here on 2nd and 12 and throws a bullet across the middle that is deflected. Darius White got his hand in there and tipped it away as Gabe Marks was closing in on the pass.
Well, Darius White has had this game circled on his calendar since a year ago. Junior college transfer. The first game he starts in was Washington State, and the first play he's in is a 90-yard touchdown pass over him. This young man has been seeking this game.
Well, they were targeted 45 times a game last year. They were dead last in FBS in the number of yards allowed through the air, the Cal Bears. Back to throw is Luke Falk. He's going to test that secondary and throw near side complete. Beautiful sideline pass. Grabbed by Gabe Marks and then is tossed out of bounds by Cameron Walker.
K-Marks, he's a fun receiver. You talk to the receiver coaches about him, had a chance to in pregame, and they said he literally thinks every ball should come to him. He comes to the sideline in practice, hey, I was open, throw me the ball, give it to me again. And when he was a route runner, he's really aggressive, and that's his style of play. He hopes to make a lot of plays today.
Falk fakes a handoff. Harrington is back, nearly ran into him. It gave the defenders enough time to close on him, and Jalen Jefferson came up to pop him.
Both of these quarterbacks, you have to give them different looks, different types of pressures, different types of stunts and twists up front by your defensive line, just so they don't get in a rhythm, because when they do, it can be disastrous for a defense.
3 sacks already, Yogi, for this Cal Bears defense. It averages just under 3 sacks per ball game. Ranked quite high in FBS. Here's Falk back to throw. Open pocket, throws near side to the running back, coming free. That was Robert Lewis, who got popped just inside the 10-yard line. But Lewis bails out the young quarterback.
Well, that is textbook climbing the pocket. That's beautiful. Climbing the pocket, your eyes are downfield. Oh, okay, no touchdown, check down. That's awesome. For any young quarterback, that's perfect pocket presence by a quarterback.
So first down now for Washington State. Inside the Cal 10-yard line. They'll set it down at the 7. Hand off to Harrington. And he is tripped up just across the 5-yard line. Harrington, the redshirt freshman from St. Pete, Florida.
The fun part about this offense, if you're a quarterback, is that you literally have the keys to the car. So you get 2 plays, a run and a pass, and then based on what you see, and for Washington State, the language they use is green grass. If they see green grass, they're going to throw it there. If they like the numbers advantage with their offensive linemen against the defensive front, they're going to run it.
Gerard Wicks set back in the backfield, 224 pounds. Falk, though, back to throw. Zeroes in. Touchdown, Washington State. River Craycraft went down around the shoelaces to grab that bullet thrown by Luke Falk. And Washington State is on the board for the first time. Their offense feeding off their defense when they stop Cal 4th and 1.
And this one, I hope he thanks Robert Lewis, who's playing the slot. He runs a corner route, opens it up for him, and River Craycraft, who understands body positioning, body awareness, how to position himself in between a defender, makes a very difficult catch look easy.
His second touchdown of the season. And Yogi, for Luke Falk, his 9th touchdown against 1 interception. Very, very efficient. Eric Powell is on to add the extra point. And Washington State, off a defensive stop, goes down the field and scores on the number 24 Cal Bears. Make it 7-0 Cougars. Pac-12 football is presented by Bank of the West, Clean, Crisp Coors Light, and by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and college football is a one-of-a-kind tradition. It's homecoming here at Cal. They are ranked 24th in the country. They are 4-0. The Bears have come out a little flat. Marcellus Pippins picking off Jared Goff. Cal gets it back. They move down the field. 4th and 1. They're stopped by Washington State. Luke Falk engineers the 9-play drive for the touchdown. This is Davis trying to equalize. He's at the 20. He is swarmed and he is knocked down. Take a look now at the drive summary presented by 76.
Well, I thought it was really efficient and a real nice job by Luke Falk in terms of staying calm. He saw a variety of different defenses, a variety of different pressures, and didn't flinch. And that's kind of been his career since we started calling his games a year ago. And then, of course, he finds, really probably the surest receiver in the conference, one of the tops in the country in River Craycraft for the touchdown.
And that was after their first series of downs. They had real difficulty against that Cal rush. They were bull rushing. They had 3 sacks. Here's Goff, and will hand off. And they give it to Daniel Lasco, galloping across to the 25-yard line.
Well, the fun part for Cal is that now it's a little adversity, right? How are they going to respond? Ranked for the first time in a long time. A ton of hype about them, about Jared Goff. Okay, you just got punched in the mouth a little bit. How are you going to do on this drive?
Goff back to throw on tiptoes. Flings it across the middle, took a little something off. He had Kenny Lawler wide open. He just sat down and took it. Kenny Lawler, the junior.
They call it typewriter feet. Offensive coordinator Tony Franklin, he's got one poster up in his office, and it's a Peyton Manning, because that's exactly what he does. And that's how he teaches Jared Goff to play on balance. When you're on balance, you can be accurate.
First down for Cal. Goff eyeballs Lawler across the middle. Revere outside, handling the football, and throws it away. Well, they actually had Bryce Treggs underneath everybody just across the line of scrimmage, and instead decides to, with the pressure applied by Ivan McClennan, go to the sideline.
Well, Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator of Washington State, he's done a really nice job throughout, the majority of this first quarter. Different looks, never the same defense, 2 snaps in a row.
Grinch, formerly the safeties coach at Missouri the last few years, with Gary Pinkel, his uncle, the head coach. Lasco will get the call, and he's tripped up across the 35-yard line. Brings up 3rd down now for the Cal Bears. Bears 2 for 3 this afternoon and 3rd, but this is 3rd and long. Let's see what the Bears dial up here.
Well, I'm looking at number 4, Kenny Lawler. Get him involved in this ball game.
Lawler 6 touchdowns this year, and the flag flies.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You don't see that very often, do you, Yogi, for a veteran like Jordan Rigsby?
No, you really don't. I mean, some subtle mistakes up front thus far for this Cal offensive line.
Rigsby starting his 41st game since 2012. 50-year senior. Dominic Granato, the center, snaps it back here to Falk, and he zeroes in. There was a very small window there, and he threw to Darius Powell across the 45-yard line.
Well, this is all because of the offensive line. There's a twist up front. The offensive line passes it off. Really impressive job. Look at the offensive line. A defensive lineman goes outside. A defensive lineman comes inside. Jared Goff stays calm. The offensive line doesn't chase it. In the offensive line world, they call it don't chase the cheese. And the cheese goes one way, don't chase. Just stay home, because something's coming back onto your plate. A really nice job up front. Chris Borio, the left guard, and Dominic Granato at the center.
Vic Nwaneri, the lone man in the backfield now for the Cal Bears. Nwaneri slanting right side, and a terrific tackle. Busting in there was the linebacker, Peyton Pallure, the sophomore from Sammamish, Washington.
He's a player. You turn the film on, and he jumps off of the screen. He can run like a strong safety, but he's playing middle linebacker.
His dad, Scott, a linebacker back in the late 70s at Washington State. And his granddad and great-grandfather. I mean, that lineage goes back to the 20s, Washington State football. Don't mention Uncle Steve played at Washington, played quarterback at Washington. 2nd and 10 now. Goff fakes the handoff, hangs in the pocket, and delivers the goods across the 35-yard line. And again, he zeroes in, knowing he was going to get a hard shot applied.
This is impressive. He's about to throw, and he says, you know what? I trust my receiver. Oh, by the way, that receiver was a true freshman. Kanawai Noah, a true freshman out of Punahou in Hawaii. That to me is confidence in your receiving corps.
Bears moving the ball efficiently now. Goff back to throw, play action, looking to the end zone, looking for the bundle. Touchdown, California. Bryce Treggs runs under that one and grabs it and takes it home. And Jared Goff has set the mark. He needed 1 touchdown to become the all-time leading passer with touchdown passes, 65 here at Cal.
Well, this is called I'm just a better athlete than you are. Bryce Treggs lined up against Isaac Dotson, and that's an advantage for Cal all day long. Is Jared Goff. Congratulations, man. What an impressive record, Kevin.
It really is. Breaks the record formerly held by Kyle Bowler, who went on, of course, to play Sundays. The extra point is added, and we are tied at 7-7.
You're going to see Bryce Treggs in the slot at the bottom of your screen. He's matched up, and all of a sudden, he's just going to run right by him. Attack that inside shoulder. See you later. They run this every day in practice. That's as good as it gets. When you've got a combination like Goff to Treggs, they've been doing this for 3 seasons now. They looked at each other before that snap and said, yep, I'm coming to you if it remains man-to-man coverage. And this is going to be a challenge all day long if Washington State wants to play any type of man coverage on the skilled players of Cal.
You know, it's so interesting. Of course, his heroes, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, the former Cal Bear, and he's been coming to Cal games since he was a kid, right? Growing up here in the Bay Area.
Well, he had his birthday. He was sitting in section double V when he was 10 years old, painting his chest. Right? You saw that on The Drive a couple years ago, the documentary series on Cal. And I love watching his involvement. You know, I've known him since he was in high school, and his moxie's always been there. His size, his strength has grown, but his attitude of persevering, showcasing a no-flinch mentality is as good as there is at this position in the country.
Matt Anderson will get into this one. Tavares Martin, who is a true freshman from Belle Glade, Florida, is back. He is upended, and there's a flag thrown. Jalen Jefferson on special teams, making the hit.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 16. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
You know, Jared Goff coming into this game had 22 Cal records. Now he's got 23, obviously, with the 65 touchdowns, some of the more notable records.
It's ridiculous, you know, and he's done it through a lot of adversity. And when you talk to him, he doesn't want to talk about any of those now 23 school records. He wants to talk about the record on the field. He has grown up, as you mentioned, a Cal Bear fan. He is now rocking this uniform. He wants to get this team not only bowling, but knocking on the door for a Pac-12 championship before it's all said and done.
Well, the Bears now with 3 sacks already this afternoon. You can bet they're going to tee it up now as Washington State has the ball at their own 8-yard line on first down. Falk the handoff. They bounce it out. And working to the far boundary on the ground is Gerard Wicks, the sophomore from Carson, California.
In Washington State, they've ran the ball more this year than they have in years past under Mike Leach. And a lot of it's because they're just better up front. They return all their offensive linemen from a year ago. They feel more confident about that area of their game.
Wicks is a guy that averages just shy of 5 yards a carry. Falk again is swarmed. He's hurried. He's rushed. He has to climb out of the pocket and finally slides. As Jalen Jefferson was there, Marcus Manley applies pressure right up the middle.
Well, it's a 3-man defensive front. They bring a 4th off the edge just to get Luke Falk going. Does a nice job of climbing through the rush. But the secondary, again, the much maligned secondary from a year ago, really impressive coverage on the field. Nowhere for him to go with the ball.
1 and 2 this afternoon. Washington State in third down situations. They have 3rd and 5 here. Last in the Pac-12 in third down conversions at 36%. He is back to throw. Falk has time. Throws near side and incomplete. And getting in there late, but providing enough pressure was Kyle Cragen.
Well, his motor is impressive, right? He goes all the way up the field, then you're taught to spin back. They call it the old ice pick. You know, you put the ice pick in the back and spin right off of that. Kyle Cragen, the best game of his career as a 5th-year senior last week at Washington. I mean, just off the hook in terms of 1.5 sacks, 6 tackles, forced fumble, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he was off the charts. That's why he was a defensive player of the week. He's come out on fire in this first quarter.
Very quick and nimble for a guy that weighs 245. Trevor Davis settles under the punt. Great field position now for the Bears, who tied the game at 7-7 out near the 46-yard line. Last year, Davis, phenomenal. What an afternoon or an evening he had in Pullman.
Well, nobody talks about the inside screen he takes early in the football game. 27-yard touchdown. He made 4 guys miss on his way to the end zone. But then he took 100-yard of the house. That wasn't enough. The very next kickoff, about 3.5 minutes later, goes 98. And then it's on the line late in the 4th quarter, about 4 minutes left. He runs an out and up in man coverage, which proved to be the game-winning touchdown. We had a chance to talk to him yesterday. He was so excited about contributing a transfer from Hawaii. And those returns, Kevin, were the first of his entire collegiate career as a kick returner.
What a terrific guy. Great student, too.
Phenomenal student, already done with school. He's got a job already dialed in. He's going to go try to play, obviously, at the next level. And I love this young man in terms of the personality he has. He's a relative introvert at a position that's very extrovert, the wide receiver. And I think he's a perfect mix for this wide receiver meeting room because there's so many different personalities, and they've all thrived on the field.
Cal goes to the ground on first down. They lose a yard. It brings up 2nd and very long. 2nd and 11. And the quarters come to an end with a score tied at 7-7. The story early, Luke Falk a touchdown to get Washington State off the launching pad. Cal comes back with an answer off the arm of Jared Goff.
A little less than 9 miles south of Berkeley, you'll find Oracle Arena, the home of the 2015 NBA champion Golden State Warriors. And back here at Memorial Stadium, I've got Klay Thompson, who was a part of that team. And Klay, 2015 must have been an unbelievable season for you. You made your first All-Star team and then winning that title. You've had some time to think about it. What do you think?
Surreal year. I enjoyed every minute of it. It went by so fast because we were having so much fun, and I'm trying to do the same thing, if not even better this year.
Another one. Now, I know you wore -- as a Cougar, and it seems like there's still #1 on your list of places to visit. Tell me about taking that trophy back after you guys won it.
Well, I just felt like I owed Washington State. They're the one team in the Pac-10 who recruited me. So I always had a special place in my heart, and just the relationships I built in Pullman and the friends I made, something I'll cherish for my whole life. And it was a lot of fun to bring the trophy back. I have a lot of Cougs experience that, and just see a lot of great folks I went to school with.
What's it like to come to an event like this and not have to worry about, X's and O's and just enjoy a game?
Yeah, it's lovely. I love college football. I love supporting my team. And some great athletes out here, both two teams competing at a high level. So it's going to be a great game.
You guys open up your preseason Monday against Toronto. So how has training been going? You feel like you're mentally back in it?
Yeah, training camp's great. Steve has been killing us. Coach Stat has been killing us. He knows it's a long season. We're trying to play till June again. So we're pretty fresh. And, we're going to take Monday like it's a real game. Toronto's a very talented team. And, we're way ahead of where we were last year this time of the year.
Well, listen, congrats on a magical season. Good luck this year. And also give our best to Steve Kerr. I know he's dealing with the back. And I see you brought Maurice Spates here. He's the only guy you can bring in?
Yeah, he's the only one. He loves college football, so dang it. Did he catch that?
I'm not sure if he caught it or not. I'm going to throw it back up to Kevin. We'll see you soon, all right?
I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Well, you heard the reaction from Klay Thompson. Yes, he did catch it, but there is a flag down on the play as Goff, forced to hurry out of the pocket, finds Kenny Lawler.
Receiver number 4 went out of bounds on his own, returned inbounds, and was first to touch the pass. This is illegal touching, the penalty for which is a loss of down at the previous spot. 4th down.
So that was 3rd and 17. After the Bears unsuccessful on the ground the first snaps, and Washington State holds in their defense, Leogi, early on has been very impressive.
It's been impressive. They've been playing that cover 2 style. They call it Tampa 2 style defense, where the corners are playing the flats. They force the receivers to try to run inside breaking routes. And when you want to go outside, you got to go outside of them. And Kenny Lawler stepped out of bounds. You can't, by rule, as you heard, be the first offensive player to touch the ball if you go out on your own.
Cougars have held California to 10 carries, 12 yards total. Punt spiraling into the air, fair caught by the Washington State Cougars. Back inside their own 15-yard line. A kick of 46 for Cole Leininger. Bears, Washington State tied at 7. Pac-12 football is brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. And by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. We're tied at 7-all here in the Bay Area. Cal 4-0. Ranked number 24 in the country. Mike Leach and company score first. Luke Falk. Short pass of 4 yards to River Craycraft. Back to throw is Falk on 1st down, and this one broken up. Aggressively defended by Stephen McClure, the senior from right here in the Northern California area. Dom Williams, the intended receiver.
Well, Stephen McClure, 2 years ago, he was injured playing Washington State. He was also a mainstay on this defense. They got abused in the throw game a year ago. He's excited to be playing in this ball game against the Cougs.
Great young man we had the opportunity to meet a couple of weeks ago. Very involved in social services here in the Bay Area. Here is Keith Harrington. Very durable runner. And he's got a 1st down for Washington State. He's been a nice addition to this ball club, Yogi. The coaches told us that he's just an absolute nightmare to bring down.
Well, they call him Mr. 6 because he's always going to the house. And you look at their offense, and you know, a lot is talked about this, of, oh, Washington State should run the ball more. Well, they run it when they can. They run it when they have numbers. They run it when they're confident in their offensive line. They've been that way this fall.
Falk back to throw. Gives it to John Thompson, who's able to maneuver his way across the 35-yard line, just shy of the 40. And that's a first down for Washington State. And as you mentioned to me during our preparation for the game, Washington State activates their running backs via the pass rather than, of course, the typical pro-style handoff. They empty out the backfield in this case, and Falk throws over the middle complete, and another first down. That was River Craycraft just finding an opportunity and sitting down there.
Well, it's an incredible job of Luke Falk. A lot of people talk about your lower body at the quarterback position. We've talked about the typewriter feet of Jared Goff, but your feet follow your eyes. And when you look at Luke Falk's eyes, where they go, his feet follow and allows him to be an accurate passer.
Falk back to throw, little inside move, bubble screen right side. They go to Tavares Martin. Martin, a very shifty young freshman. Picks up maybe 6 or 7 on the play before Kyle Craven buried him.
When you watch Washington State and even Cal, they play so many players. It's like ice hockey. It's just they're rotating lines on, lines off. But so many receivers specifically can fit in this offense, and they're always fresh.
Kieran Priester is in the slot. Keep an eye on him. 6'1" sophomore. Transfer from Clemson. He'll get it on a reverse to the right side. He's got a boost across the 30. Veers out near the 20 and is dragged down inside the 20-yard line. Stephen McClure comes up to make the stop on Priester, who played just 1 game when he was at Clemson a year ago.
Well, we were there in training camp, and this young man, he's got some special stuff to him. They gave him a lot early on in the season. He had a lot going on in his head, wasn't playing fast. They scaled back and said, you know what, I'm going to give you a couple plays, a small package. There's a great example of his ability.
They want to get him some touches, no question, to pick up a 24 on the play. So Falk and company back knocking on the door. Harrington will take it. Wide open spaces left side, works the edge, and is knocked down across the 10-yard line. Coming up to get him from the safety position was Cameron Walker. He's a dime back. Washington State again mixing it up down the field.
There's not a lot of play calls in this offense, but a lot of variation in this offense. That's what makes it hard to prepare for.
See the offensive line of Washington State, those splits they talk so much about. Falk throws over the middle. This one sails over the head, but he had a man down there who had a step advantage. That was Gabe Marks in the end zone, and Falk took a pretty good shot after the throw.
Well, you see Devontae Downs at the bottom of your screen, untouched, runs right through him. Interesting that he dives at his lower body in that regard, trying to just get a hit on him.
Brings up 3rd and 1 now for the Cougars. Tie ball game at 7. Churning ahead is Wicks.
It's really fun to watch in the red zone with these offenses, because so many of these spread offenses that are up-tempo, they move the ball 20 to 20, but how do you execute when you're inside the 10? Can you make anticipatory throws? Can you put a ball on a spot? Can you protect? And defensively, you've seen it at both defenses. They're going to give a picture right here, then they're going to move before the snap. Just try to create a little chaos for Luke Falk.
First down for Washington State, 1st and goal. They hand off to Wicks, high-stepping, moving, and then working his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington State. Hard running by Wicks, the sophomore from Carson, California.
Well, you saw the first couple drives of the game, the defensive front 7 of Cal had their way. Well, this was the exact opposite. I mean, you kidding me? Just keep your legs moving, man. And they just literally dominated the line of scrimmage as though it wasn't even there.
3rd rushing touchdown of the year for Washington State. Remember, that whole offensive line is back from last year. All their returners are back. Their starters from a year ago are back. And with that push up front, Wicks is in the end zone, and Washington State leads 14-7. Time now for the Cold Hard Facts, presented by Coors Light.
This is a crazy fact. Had no clue about this one. The game a year ago was the highest scoring 1-point game that ended in regulation in the history of FBS. And Casey, what a fun one to be a part of. We were there that night.
That was phenomenal. Over 1,400 total yards. How about the 11 touchdowns through the air? Not one interception. Trevor Davis is back. He'll take the kick. Works the far side. Has a couple of blockers in front of him. Washington State contains, and they finally drag down the very dangerous Trevor Davis. Let's go to San Francisco now for an update from Anthony Herron. How about the Hoosiers? 4-0 on the year. Terrific start for Indiana. Wow. 4-0 Cal Bears. One of 3 teams in the Pac-12 Conference 4-0. UCLA, Utah, the others. Here's Goff. Throws it far side. Well, that screen was absolutely blown up, and the ball might be loose down at the 25-yard line. Cal indicates they've got the football, and so it appears they have.
A lot of the pass concepts for both these teams are very similar. Remember, Sonny Dykes has worked for Mike Leach at Texas Tech. They were at Kentucky together with Tony Franklin. The offenses are not the same. Everybody likes to say that. That's not accurate. But the throw game, a lot of the concepts, those inside screens, some of the seam routes, they're very similar.
Aaron Cochran jumped on top of that ball to preserve things for Cal. They go back to work. Little curl near the 35-yard line. Trevor Davis coming back to grab that one. Or was it Kenny Lawler? It was Lawler who made the catch. And Cal moves the chains.
And Jared makes hard things look really easy. He looks to his left, understands the coverage, anticipates the window of the throw, finds Lawler all the way back to his right side. I mean, he's really fun to watch.
Galfani Mohammed in the backfield. Falk flushed. Rolling left, sets his feet, fires a bullet down the field, intended down there for Kenny Lawler, who was closely covered, and that one falls incomplete. Charleston White is tracking Lawler back there.
Pressure up the middle. Goff slides out a little to his left. Space out there for days.
Yeah, we'll just burn that one. It brings up 2nd and 10. Daniel Lasco, the lone man in the backfield. Washington State's been effective against the run until now. Lasco bouncing it out near side, very close to a first down.
And this is when they get going. And this offense can get moving. Their offensive line can get down the field. Great pull up front. Right guard, center. Dominic Granado does a nice job.
They fake the handoff to Lasco, and Goff will keep it, looking for a first down. Now, this looked a lot like a pivotal 4th down situation against Washington a week ago when he kept the football. He was just trying to estimate where he needed to go, and then he got down.
Keep in mind, I think the biggest hidden difference for this team is how the backs and the quarterbacks are on the same page, and really how Cal finishes. This is an attitude thing. 4th and 4 a week ago in Seattle. They call a play. They think it's going to be great. The coverage they want. All of a sudden, Washington jumps out of it. Jared Goff says, you know what? I'm going to win this ball game. I'm going to allow you to take a shot on my right shoulder, the throwing shoulder the country's fallen in love with, and I'm going to fight my way for a first down.
Well, this time he is short.
Well, Cal's going to go for it. I mean, I'm just going to predict that now because this is who they are. You know, I think when we talk about this team, you look at the Texas game, you look at a week ago, and it's easy to say that they didn't finish well. I disagree. I think this is a team that has an attitude. Sonny Dykes is a gunslinger. He wants to go for it. That's his persona. That's Tony Franklin. That's Jared Goff. I love that they do this on 4th down. I love that Jared Goff wants to run the rock, and he wants the ball in his hands. And that's how you turn from a team who hopes things go well, to a team that can know things are going to go well.
Came in, Yogi, as you know, 6 of 8 in 4th down situation. They're 0-1 this afternoon. They have Lasco in the backfield. Not only that, but they have somebody accompanying him as well. As Goff gets set under center. The turn, the handoff to Lasco. He spun. And it looks like Washington State may have held again on 4th and short against Cal. Let's take a look.
I think it's going to be short.
Timeout for a measurement.
Rarely do you ever see the Cal Bears under center Rarely do you see this play. This is a play that you see across the bay. You'll see it later on the Pac-12 Network. It's called power. You're going to pull the backside guard. You see Jordan Rigsby tries to get up to the second level, but great penetration by that defensive line of Washington State. They blow up the power play right off the bat.
And the up back was Malik McMorris, number 99. He weighs in at 300 pounds. So despite that kind of firepower in the backfield, Washington State holds and they take possession of the football again. And that's been one of the stories here early on between the two clubs. The ferocity of this Washington State defense that picked off Goff in the first series of downs, Marcellus Pippins, and he deflected another couple of passes. He started a tone the Washington State's feeding off of. They lead by 7.
Not sure if we'd be talking about defense early on in this ball game, but it's the fourth down stops of Washington State that's become the storyline. Their defensive line has just gotten ridiculous amounts of penetration. Daryl Paulo, Robert Barber, Destiny Vayo, a variety of players are rotating in. And on 4th and short, they've made plays, and that's where Cal has had success throughout this season on 4th down, 6 of 8 coming into this game.
Luke Falk will take over, leading 14-7 near midfield. Hard rush, steps up in the pocket, crowded, finds a man over the middle. Gerard Wicks made himself available, dragged down near the 40-yard line.
I know the comparison is going to be dramatic, but he looks and reminds you a little Tom Brady in the pocket. You know, not ridiculously athletic, but keeps plays going, and he's so tall. And in this day and age, tall quarterbacks don't really exist in college football. He's 6'4". He can see everything, climbs the pocket, doesn't freak out, and goes to his check down.
Had a terrific year his senior year at Logan after he went to Thousand Oaks Christian in Los Angeles for his sophomore year. He throws here to the near side to Wicks, who's dragged down near the 45-yard line by Jonathan Johnson. That was a tough time there for Luke Falk and for his family, because his whole family moved down to Southern California at that time. They found out that was not for them. They moved back to Logan. He had to forego his junior year and then played his senior year, and was overlooked by just about everybody.
Well, in the quarterback world, everything's pretty much done after your junior season. In that summer, no one really knew him was going to go to the Ivy Leagues, and all of a sudden they had a chance to go to Washington State. They already had another quarterback committed as well, took a run at it, and now he's the guy.
Walk-on red shirt, back to throw, far side. Look at the power in that arm as he throws to the far boundary, and the pass complete. Gabe Marks over there makes the catch, shoved out of bounds. First down for the Cougars.
Talk to defensive coordinator Art Kaufman of Cal, and he says the first thing he does on Sunday, the first question he asks his staff, who's broken down the film of the opponent that week, he says, can he throw the out route across the field? That's exactly what we just saw. One of the hardest throws in the National Football League, a throw that is non-existent in the majority of college football, and Luke Falk made it look easy.
Here is Falk. The handoff is to Harrington. He is upended right at the line of scrimmage. Busting in there was Jalen Jefferson again for the Cal Bears.
It's not a ton of success in the run game for Washington State, but the fact that they're doing it, that's what matters. So now the linebackers, the Hardy Nickersons of the world for Cal, they have to at least respect that play. And then you put guys like River Craycraft in the slot matched up against safeties. They're going to get behind backers in front of the safeties and make plays.
14 carries this afternoon for Washington State. 25 yards. Gerard Wicks had a 7-yard touchdown run a moment ago to give Washington State the lead. Here's Falk back to throw. Again to the far side. That one too hot for Tavares Martin Jr. off his fingertips and out of bounds, incomplete.
Rotate so many players. You've got to make that play if you're Martin. Understand he's still a young player, a freshman, but in this type of game, on a critical second down, knocking on the door in the red zone, you're in for Gabe Marks. You got to come up with a catch.
Jamal Morrow comes to the backfield. 61 catches as a back a year ago. Falk is back. He is looking over the middle. He throws a lightning bolt complete near to the 12-yard line. River Craycraft reels it in for a first down for the Cougars, who are on the march.
Well, just another conversion by River Craycraft. I mean, this is who this young man is. You know, he's targeted on third down a variety of times by this quarterback. It happened a year ago. It's happened a lot this year. 8 times on third down they've gone to him coming into this game. And you can see why. His understanding of spacing, where the defensive players are going to be, and where the chains are.
In the red zone, 2 for 2 this afternoon are the Cougars, Yogi. Here is Falk on first down. Near side to Mr. Dependable, Dom Williams, who's brought down just shy of the 5-yard line. Williams, the senior from Pomona, California, tough cat with 3 touchdowns already this year. That gives him 22 for his career. Well, the Bears in the red zone have got to stiffen.
And again, the challenge of these offenses is executing in the red zone. Because of the timing, because of a shorter field, Washington State's done a nice job throughout the afternoon.
Second down at 5. Falk pump fakes right, moves left, spots a little bit of an opening, and leans forward near the 2-yard line. Falk exhibiting very good vision there.
He's just so calm. You know, his eyes are always looking where his receivers are, but more importantly, he knows where his outlets are, and he knows when he's got to tuck it and
Timeout for a
run.
measurement.
James Looney came up to get him. They're going to measure this one. He's very close to the first down. You know, the other note about Falk is, remember, after sophomore year at Logan, he had an opportunity to go to Florida State.
Right.
And they decided, for purposes, I guess, competitive purposes, training purposes, go down to Southern California. So you can imagine all that's now taken away, and then you come back to Logan, Utah. They says, no, you can't play your junior year, can't transfer back. You got to wait till senior year. That'd be very difficult.
Oh, it's terrible, especially at that position, especially if you have a confidence about yourself. And he has that quiet confidence. You know, we were there in training camp, had a chance to talk to the players, and we talked to Coach Leach earlier this week, describing this young man, and he's just got an edge about him. And I think great quarterbacks, they all have that. They have that, you know, thing in their neck where they can look you in the eye and you know you better step your game up. And he's not the most physically imposing. He's not the most gifted, but he's got some unique traits. 1 is his confidence. 2 is his ability to make spot throws. And 3 is his continued growth. This is his 7th game as a starter. We talk about him like he's a 2-year starter. Yeah. He's still growing in this system. Right now, when you watch him on film, this is the most comfortable he's looked in his entire career as a quarterback.
Just 6 games last year. 3 as a starter. He had 13 TDs and was just shy of 1,900 yards. So he goes to work now, 3rd and 1 as they rule it. Washington State is short of the first down. They load up the backfield, and Falk's going to keep it. And he's trying to sneak in there behind his center, Riley Sorensen, and he may be very close.
I always teach you on quarterback sneaks, take a little delay step and then go to one of the A gaps on either side of the center. The challenge is this year for the officials, they're very cognizant of not allowing players on your team to advance the runner. You cannot push anybody in the back if they have the ball. So it's all on the quarterbacks. You want to pick your spot and just kind of get in there and find a little crevice in between the center and the guard.
Keith Harrington got nicked up on the play. Looked like a right shoulder as he went back to the sideline, and Gerard Wicks now is the lone man in the backfield. That was enough for the first down. And the flag flies.
Timeout, Washington State, their first of the half. A full timeout.
Cougars call timeout, leading by 7. Butch the Cougar leading the number 24 Cal Bears 14-7 with the football down inside the 1-yard line of the Cal Bears, the 2-1. Washington Cougars are lost in week 1 to Portland State at home in a drizzle, 24-17. Came back to win on the road against the Big Ten's Rutgers, 37-34. And beat Wyoming 2 weeks ago, 31-14. Coming off the bye, they look fresh, and Luke Falk is in command on first and goal. High snap, gathers it in, fades it to the corner. Dom Williams is there. He is tangled up. There's no flag thrown on the play.
The challenge here for a defensive coordinator is personnel-wise, because it's so close to the goal line. Do you have your goal line personnel in as Cal's running it in right now? Do you play man-to-man like they did on the previous snap?
Well, on second down, they've got the 224-pound Wicks trying to sidestep a tackler, but he is met right at the goal line. The ball is free. It's in the end zone. Did he break the threshold for the touchdown before the ball was coughed loose? Did he put a knee down at the 1 yard line? Let's see.
Well, it's Michael Barton, him and Hardy Nickerson. They make a collision right off the bat. Michael Barton, nice, trying to get blocked by Kyron Priester.
Boy, that is a terrific play up the middle by the Cal Bears on homecoming. So they're going to review this one. They want to take a look at this one near the goal line. It is that close. You at home take a look. Yogi, what do you see here?
Well, I see great penetration by the Cal defensive front, and Hardy Nickerson making his dad proud watching this one in Tampa, and I don't think he gets in at all.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, really nice job. It's Barton, it's Nickerson, and then finishing it off is Demarie Drew. I mean, who would have thought? This is a game that's going to be won up front by a defensive front and a front seven on both sides of the ball on 3rd and short, 4th and short, 2 stops by Washington State. Great stop by Cal. Here we are again inside the 5.
A pick of golf by Marcellus Pippins in the first set of downs by the Cal Bears. And then, as you mentioned, Yogi, not once but twice, Washington State up front. They deny Cal on 4th and 1 situations.
Well, and let's just rewind, right? I mean, this happened a year ago in their game. It was late in the ball game, but they're inside the 5, and it's Wicks who gets the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a discussion of, is his knee down? Is the ball across the goal line? So I'm sure Gerard Wicks and this offensive line, who all returned from that game a year ago, are thinking, all right, well, if he doesn't get in, give it to us again. And, coach, run the ball.
And then, of course, on 3rd down, with no timeouts left, Washington State decides to kick the field goal from 19 yards with 19 seconds left, and it goes wide right.
This is the angle the officials are looking at, and you see the contact. I don't think they didn't rule it a touchdown. I don't think there's enough to overturn that, and there's no fumble. I think he's down, and I think it's actually back a little bit from where the ball is spot on the field.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. 3rd down.
Chris Coit, our referee, with the call, brings up 3rd down now. What do you dial in if you're Mike Leach here?
Well, to me, I like what he has. He's got his wide receivers, his personnel out there. You know, you got Gabe Marks, Tom Williams, got to respect it. The interesting part, they're not a 2 tight end offense. They're in a 2 tight end offensive set right now with Kyron Priester as your left end number 1 at the bottom of the screen.
Dom Williams is wide out to the left. Luke Falk's just going to try to bury himself behind his offensive line and get to the promised land.
I think he's short again. Yeah.
Holy smokes.
And they call it submarine technique by defensive linemen. You just want to get down and take out the legs of the offensive lineman if you're a defensive tackle, a nose guard. That's exactly what Cal does. And I think, honestly, if you're doing quarterback sneak, you've got to take a little bit of a delay step. Luke Falk doesn't do it, and all of a sudden it's contact on contact.
It has been a battle all afternoon up front. It brings up 4th down.
And they look a little confused.
Yeah, the Cougars are looking back toward their own bench here.
Timeout, Washington State, their 2nd of the half. A 30-second timeout.
Here's what Yogi was alluding to a moment ago. Into the ball game, Washington State with an opportunity right there at the goal line of Cal.
It's Gerard Wicks, and everybody thinks, oh, is it a touchdown? Is his knee down? Mike Leach talked about it in his press conference earlier this week. Obviously not ruled a touchdown. 2nd down, they run it again. They call their final timeout, so now it's 3rd and goal from the 2. Now, when you kick a field goal on 3rd down, if it's anything wrong, if it's not perfect, you are taught to fall on it, live for another down. There was 19 seconds left. Gabe Marks gets an average hold down. They kick it, obviously missed the field goal, and it's disaster in Pullman. But it's that type of execution. For both of these teams, this is a massive game and a big possession. For Washington State, if you want to go bowling, you got to win this game. For Cal, if you want to keep growing, you got to win this game. And this is a game of inches, like Al Pacino said, for that inch, right, KC? This is for that inch right here, brother.
So after using the timeout to make sure it's all sorted out, everybody's on the same page. Washington State is too wide to the left, too wide to the right. And offset in the backfield is Gerard Wicks. This is on 4th down. Priester goes in motion. Falk's going to keep it again. Looks like he stood up, but another surge. And it looks like he is very close to getting in. Touchdown, Washington State. It was that second surge that got him there.
Well,
and this time he didn't dive, Yogi. He stood straight up to get in there.
Well, you got to love what Mike Leach did. He spread out the Cal defense, and he said, all right, Luke, if you like it, take it. He hesitates for a second, goes to his right on the A-gap. Great job by Michael Bart, and then he gets help. And I'm sure if you're Sonny Dykes, he's going nuts right now because the officials are supposed to not allow any aid from an offensive player. Cole Madison up front, giving a little bit of aid, and I think that's a hard play to call. I think when you're down there, that's really hard. And look, I went through it. I was on the staff with the Bush push when USC played Notre Dame, and that's really a part of why this rule is now enforced, because it was a rule then. Nobody talked about it, but it is a big part of an emphasis of the officials. And I'd be blown away if that was ever called in that situation, but I get why the rule is there. He goes to his right. Great job by the Cal defensive front. Michael Barton's the first hit. And then he just gets a little love from the fellas, and the pile keeps going. But how about the competitiveness, man?
Up front, it has been a battle because Cal was, the first couple of series of downs for Luke Falk and company, Cal was having their way up front. They were getting the quarterback. 3 sacks.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
And that's the right no call, I think, as well, with the aiding of an offensive player. But again, yeah, the competitiveness is, this is why you love college football, man. This is awesome.
Eric Powell is on to kick the extra point. Now, Cal did face a deficit against Texas. They were down 10, remember, in the second quarter to Texas at 24-14 before tying it up at half. Here's the snap. The hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Washington State on top 21-7 here in the Bay. Let's go down the Bay to San Francisco for an update from Anthony Herron.
Kevin, this Bank of the West game break takes us between the hedges. Number 13 Alabama at number 8 Georgia. Jake Coker off play action, 45 yards downtown to Calvin Ridley. This game could be viewed as a somewhat surprising score as well. 24-3 the score, Alabama over Georgia at the half.
Thank you, Anthony. By the way, the fellas, before the game, they all picked Cal to win this game, so this halftime show should be interesting. Brought to you by State Farm. Stick around. The State Farm halftime report. Anthony Herron, Curtis Conway, Nick Aliotti, and Ronnie Lott. You know who you are. Back in the Pac-12 Network studios, all picking Cal to win this, and Cal a heavy favorite to beat Washington State today. You can't tell the Cougars that, though. They've been absolutely sensational in all aspects of the game. Even the special teams that betrayed them last year, time and time again, they've been very solid here today.
They have progressed in every game this year and played better and better and better. After a bye week, they're playing their best football.
Trevor Davis bottled up, reverses his field, comes here to the near side, still on his feet, magnificent to the 20. Well, he was able to turn nothing into, well, maybe 15 yards or so there. Looked like he was going to get nailed back there. Let's go to Lewis Johnson down on the field.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, at the top of this game, we talked about the Cougars defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, and what he hoped his defense would be able to do today. And he talked more about them leaning on their defensive front, their interior defensive linemen, and that ability to gap control and get out to the passer. They said they've been kind of hit or miss so far this season, but if they were able to stop the run, which they've been able to do today pretty well, they thought they could create some more discomfort for the quarterback. And so those 2 stops on defense at 4th and short were pretty strong. So now they need more. Nothing but calm out of Jared Goff and Cal as they're on the bench waiting to play.
Free play for Cal. Here's a pass over the top, complete. Kenny Lawler down at the 40-yard line. You can see Washington State come off sides. And so Goff goes long to Lawler here at the near side.
And Lewis, that's an awesome point about the defensive front.
defense in the neutral zone of the snap. The penalties decline, first down.
And they've been stopping Cal with their defensive front on early downs and distances. Because when Cal gets a first down like they just did, look out, because this is when the offense gets rolling with Jared Goff.
Goff ready to go to work as they sprint down to the line of scrimmage. Sidesteps a man, throws to the far side, complete to Daniel Lasco out of the backfield. He corkscrews across the 30 for a first down.
Call it spatial awareness. Jared Goff, great awareness of the penalty, what his team could do. Where's Kenny Lawler? Let me find him. Let me throw it up. He runs right past the defensive secondary of Washington State.
Just under 2 minutes remaining here in this first half. Muhammad will come in to get Lasco. And they need to add a lineman as well up front, and they do. Addison Ohms comes out onto the field. Goff goes to work on first down. Back to throw, releasing out of the backfield. Muhammad in space, avoids a tackler. And is able to move across to the 20-yard line. Jeremiah Allison came up to make the stop, and the clock continues to run with 1:15 left here in the first half.
Well, it started here in the Bay Area with Bill Walsh, just creating great quarterback play. And all the time in 2-minute drills, you teach your quarterbacks, if you're Tony Franklin, the OC, check the ball down if there's nothing down the field.
The handoff to Muhammad, got a big block to the left side, and maneuvers across the 15-yard line.
This is when you're on your heels if you're Washington State a little bit. We know they can take shots down the field. Oh, they just checked it down twice to the running back throwing the ball. Okay, we think pass is coming, and they run the ball, and all of a sudden, you've got 3 straight first downs. Here in the first half, Washington State, they're not dominant in the run game, but enough just to take the crowd out. There's not a lot of juice in this stadium right now. Washington State has just methodically put drive together. If they can stop here in the 2-minute drill, they're going to feel good coming into halftime, but I'm sure number 16 has something to say about that.
First trip into the red zone for Jared Goff and company. Snap is low. He is back to throw. Hard rush. He is knocked down and gathered in at the 25-yard line by Darryl Paulo. There is a flag on the play.
Offside, defense number 97. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And it's interesting because it's not as though Cal is a team that has a lot of hard counts. It's not as though they're really trying to draw you off sides, but a couple of times this defensive line, they're getting antsy because of all the twisting they're trying to do up front. They've jumped.
Victor Inweri offset, I should say, to the left of Goff. Play action, fakes the pass, throws a fade near side, and he gathers it in with one hand. Kenny Lawler! Are you kidding me?
Well, when in doubt, throw it up to number 4 because he's got mitts that are triple XL. You can grab his arm. You can try to bang him at the corner. Kenny Lawler will make the play. And he decided even on his tuck and fall to the ground, he was only going to keep it in one hand. Are you kidding me? Put that on 12 best.
And the extra point is off.
Jared Goff recognizes man-to-man coverage on the outside. He's going to throw the fade all day long. These two worked on it in pregame for about 15 minutes. They worked on it all summer long. On their off days, these two specifically got together. Left hand's getting grabbed by Pippins. Can't do anything about that one. Jared Goff pats him on the back. Hey, nice rush, Destiny Vial, but number 4, he's going to keep making plays for us when we put the ball in the air.
But the extra point missed by Matt Anderson. Possibly deflected. Lawler with his 7th touchdown reception this year, leading the Pac-12. He just missed it. Was not blocked. Just missed it. And so you can see they're 21-13 with 34 seconds to go here in the second quarter of play. It's been a very surprising first half. This does not go the way that a lot of people anticipated it would go.
Not even close. You know, it's not as though we've seen a variety of huge plays down the field. We've seen actually, in my opinion, good football. in terms of defensive football, being gap sound, making plays at the line of scrimmage, not allowing for big explosive plays. We really only saw one with Lawler that touch to start the drive.
Anderson, a low one. That's knocked down here near the 3-yard line, goes out of bounds. So Washington State will take over with 34 seconds remaining, and they'll march it up the field.
34 seconds is a long time.
For this offense,
that's a big miss on special teams.
Yes.
We talk special teams all the time on Fridays with the coaching staff. They don't get a lot of love unless when bad things happen. But that was a bad thing to happen because Luke Falk and his weapons, we haven't seen a lot of explosion out of them today, but it's clearly there. This is what this offense is built upon: scoring fast, being efficient, getting the ball down the field.
And that will move it up to the 35-yard line. Where Luke Falk will go to work. He has been absolutely sharp here in the first half. Steps up in the pocket, trying to break free of the grasp. He secures the football and just takes his medicine at the 30-yard line. Wow. Cragen down there again to get him, along with James Looney wrapping him up.
That's frustration if you're Mike Leach on your offensive line. It's 3-man rush, 2-minute drill. You got 5 wides. You're ready to charge down the field. Luke Falk had no time.
But you get the 8-point lead on the road. You get 6 seconds left. You're just going to let this thing work down in the first half. Go to the locker room. Feel good about what you've done. Make a few tweaks. They have carried it right to Cal from the opening set of downs when Marcellus Pippins picked off Jared Goff.
They've had a great game plan throughout this entire first half. Both coaching staffs defensively have done a nice job. Got to give Washington State a lot of credit. They get the ball coming into the third quarter.
And Sonny Dykes has some work cut out for him here at half. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson standing by.
Well, Coach, first of all, down 2 scores. How big was that drive by Goff and that one-handed grab there by Lawler?
Yeah, we needed it. We just hadn't executed it all on offense. Missed some short yardage situations. Never got any kind of rhythm, so we needed to get some something positive going.
What's the biggest challenge this Cougars defense is giving you guys, especially at the line of scrimmage?
Well, we just got to execute. That's the biggest thing. We got to execute. We got stuff open. We got to make sure we make plays.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks.
Kevin?
Lewis, thank you very much. Halfway through, Washington State with an 8-point lead on the road here in Cal to the 4-0 Cal Bears, ranked 24th in the country. That's the story halfway through from Berkeley. We'll take you to Anthony Herron in the Pac-12 Network Studios. Bank of the West, 21-13. Cougars leading the Bears halfway through. Lewis Johnson a moment ago caught up with Mike Leach.
Well, Coach, who surprised you most in the first half of this game?
I don't think anybody surprised me. I think, we played together, and we got to do that this half.
All right, you hold Cal to 28 rushing yards. You had to do 2 defensive stops. How big was that, and how do you carry it over here to the second half?
I think they're big. We just need to keep doing our job.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
That is Mike Leach, whose defense held the Cal Bears on 4th and 1 to nada, nothing. In the meantime, Luke Falk's been very, very sharp in the first half.
Well, the big number for me here is time of possession. I mean, Washington State, they very rarely ever lead in time of possession. In fact, this year, the only time they've led at half was week 1 when they lost to Portland State. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But they've dictated the tempo with 2 teams that traditionally want to go fast.
Tavares Martin Jr. is back to take it at his own goal line. He fakes right, he moves left, avoids a tackle on his feet, 30, near sideline 40, and run out of bounds near the 42-yard line. Now, you have seen Washington State operate in each aspect of the football game, particularly special teams, and then, of course, through the air, Luke Falk.
Well, Luke Falk, he's outplayed Jared Goff in the first half, if you compare the 2 of them, which we always love to do, right? He's taken difficult throws and made them look really easy. He's climbed the pocket, checked the ball down. He's ran when he needed to. He's found his way to the end zone. He's made spot throws. He's converted on critical downs and distances. He got a little help to get in the end zone there. To me, he's played really consistently. But when he walked off at the end of the first half, he was holding that right arm, so we want to keep an eye on that.
Well, he's going to throw on first down here. He'll screen it near side to Harrington, who's tripped up. Galloping down here for a pickup of a few on the play. Jalen Jefferson comes up to make the stop. Washington State, you talk about the numbers. What was interesting from my standpoint, Yogi, you talked about the Cal running game. Just never got off the ground. 28 yards in the first half.
Well, I think it's a huge reason why the time of possession was the way that it was. You know, Washington State dominated time of possession because they stopped the run game. Cal wants to run the football, and they couldn't do it.
Falk, hard rush, gathered in, knocked down. That's the fourth time he's been sacked this afternoon. Kyle Cragen came in to get him.
Well, the Cal front seven, specifically the front 3 or 4 on this defensive line, they came out in the first quarter and they were playing with smoke. I mean, they were coming off the edge with a lot of heat. It slowed down in the second quarter towards the end of that first half. They start off again. Very interested to know what Sonny Dykes might have said at halftime to light this defensive front up again.
And what adjustments did Washington State make to that as well? 5 sacks today against Falk, who settles in now on 3rd and 9. Looking down the field, checking left but throwing right. Trying to get it out far enough that his receiver can make a play on it. That was Gabe Marks who hauled it in, but he's going to be just shy of the first down. Cameron Walker did everything he could down there.
Well, it's a great grab. And Washington State, they play what is called, wow, look at that. I want to talk about strong hands. That's impressive. Cal forced them to throw it underneath. They took away everything over the top with 3 deep safeties on that last snap. And Gabe Marks makes one of the most impressive catches we've seen all season.
Boy, that was something. The junior from Venice, California. And 4th and 1, reluctantly sprinting off the field is Luke Falk. Wow. Washington State will punt. This is not in the DNA of Washington State, Yogi.
This is.
Oh, indeed it isn't. It'll be a fake punt. And this is a ball jarred free, and it's loose, and Cal has got it. It looks like Cal is going to score on a ball tipped free on a botched fake punt attempt. Unbelievable play. As Stephen McClure gathers it in and takes it to the house. Touchdown, Bears. You were about to say?
Well, I know it's not nighttime yet, but pull out the hashtag Pac-12 After Dark, baby, because this one's already gotten wild in the first possession of the third quarter.
Well, we've talked about this opportunistic defense, how they have forced the turnovers this year. You know, the 9 interceptions, the 5 fumbles that they have recovered, and the 5 turnovers against Washington last weekend. Well, they do it again here, and they score points off those turnovers. 58 points scored off for turnovers this year for Cal.
And absolutely ridiculous. And you have to give them a lot of credit. And we know what happened last weekend in the Pac-12 conference. Utah with the incredible punt return against Oregon. Every special teams coordinator this week, I'm sure they were really focused on all the little things, any fakes. As you see, clearly a fumble. The ball pops out as Cal, when they saw the offense run it off, you've got to think something must be up. This is a little bit different. And to your point, KC, again, they add to their points off of takeaways, leading the Pac-12 conference by more than 20.
We think it was Darius White who came in there to get a piece on Zach Charmy, the freshman punter. And the extra point this time is good. So the Bears alertly take advantage of a Washington State miscue on 4th down and pull to within 1 here at home on homecoming. Well, the football game has suddenly changed down here in Berkeley. On 4th down and 1, Washington State decides to fake the punt and run it. Bad idea. Zach Charmy, the freshman, really didn't seem to be committed to the run. McClure steps up after Davis pries it free. Stephen McClure races into the end zone. Touchdown, Cal. They're within 1 now.
It's a game of momentum, and it is clearly swung.
Tavares Martin Jr. back to field it. And he is swarmed over at the 20-yard line and driven back. Let's go to San Francisco now for an update from Anthony Herron. Thank you, Anthony. Well, Yogi, it'll be interesting now to see what kind of bounce Washington State has. They had all the momentum in the first half. Falk is back to throw on 1st down. That certainly will help as Karen Priester curls to the sideline to make the catch.
Well, the thing that we know about Washington State is they're very calm in terms of their demeanor. They don't get too high, too low. That's kind of obviously a reflection of their head coach and Mike Leach. And you talk to their players and they said, hey, if you had the ability out of a scoreboard, Coach Leach would want that because we just execute. And that's kind of been the mantra since he got there.
On first down, Falk is rushed. Falk is gathered in and driven down for the 6th sack of the afternoon. Mustafa Jalil and James Looney combined.
And also 52, Mr. David Honey Mustard Davis is in on that. That's the transfer, keep in mind, from Washington State. He's had this one circled for a while. Right in the middle of your screen. Look at Honey Mustard dive in on that. He's a fan favorite. Great lineage as well. Dad played in the SEC at Missouri. Grandfather played in the National Football League. He's bounced around in his career, but he's really settled in here, and you knew this one was circled on his calendar.
2nd and 17. Washington State goes to work. Falk, good protection, steps out, threads it here to the near side, and the freshman in and out of his hands. Tavares Martin with a drop, his 2nd drop of the afternoon.
You talk about the difference between the air raid and the bear raid. It's a lot of these crossing routes underneath, and Washington State loves it. River Craycraft, he clears out the defense. They bring the youngster Martin underneath. Got to make that catch because then it's 3rd and manageable. Now we're here in 3rd and 17.
Gabe Marks flanked far to the right side of Falk. To the near side is Dom Williams. 2-by-2 formation. Falk is back. Flush, steps up, throws far side. That's a first down. Secured over there by Gabe Marks. Marks, who just got hammered and knew he was going to get a lick the minute he touched the football.
Gabe Marks, he believes he's open every single snap. They run again a form of a defense where there's 3 deep safeties. That means there's windows, there's pockets. They call it holes from a language standpoint. Luke Falk, Gabe Marks, they find the hole and they find a first down.
Falk back to throw, threads it again into the hands of Marks. Battles his way near the 41, very close to another first down.
Gabe Marks from Venice Beach, California. I mean, this young man, to me, he runs with such aggression, with such incredible preciseness in his routes, and he's got such strong hands. We saw that catch when he was on the ground earlier in the ball game. This drive, obviously, he's been a huge part of it, and he really feels, like a lot of wideouts, that he's open and should get the ball on every snap.
On 3rd downs, he's had catches of 21, 16, and 19 yards this afternoon. Falk under center, drops back, slips a bit, throws near side. Martin makes the catch this time, but a terrific defensive play out there in space, turned in by Demarie Drew, the junior.
Yeah, I think when they're going up against such a lethal passing attack with Luke Falk and the talented receivers they have, if they just play coverage, it's not the best recipe for that defense. They've got to bring a 4th, a 5th defender off the edge. Just try to force Luke Falk to get the ball out of his hands, rally to the ball carrier on a check down, and get to the next snap.
3rd and 4 for Washington State. They are 6 of 10 this afternoon in 3rd down situations. Man wide open. Again, it is Marks. Tight roping the far side and out of bounds, and another first down for old dependable, the junior Gabe Marks.
Well, Cedric Dozier just on an island, man to man. We're here on the outside, and he just gets beat. You know, I mean, when you already have your hips turned at the top of a route of a wide receiver, you don't have a chance. You've got to try to stay squared as humanly possible just so you can break on a ball. Well, what does that show you? It shows you that the receiver, he's intimidating you a little bit. Cedric Dozier, he's got to stay squared up if he wants a chance against number 9.
3-man front now for the Bears. They bring 3. Falk unloads far boundary. This is Dom Williams across the 30-yard line, and he is upended. Well, check that. Actually, it is not Dom Williams out on the football field. Washington State continues to move the football now. Brings up 2nd and 1. Here's the handoff to Wicks. He's got the first down and more as he rumbles across the 25-yard line. Daniel Leventhal with a catch just a moment ago.
They can plug so many different receivers in. Both of these offenses, really. But we've seen Washington State do it. Gabe Marks 2 grabs, comes out. Leventhal makes the play in his position.
Here is Falk looking for a man, coming free out of the backfield. Pass complete to the 20. And Robert Lewis dragged down near the 15-yard line. Lewis, the sophomore from Southgate, California. What a response by Washington State after the fake field goal that was pride free. Ball loose. Stephen McClure takes it into the house. Touchdown, Cal. It appeared the momentum had swung dramatically to Cal. Washington State said not so fast. Here they are, second down and 3. With Falk dropping back, taking a hit, throwing it up toward the end zone. Dom Williams down there, pass incomplete out of the end zone. Nathan Broussard drove his body right into Luke Falk.
Luke Falk always standing tall in the pocket. He doesn't get enough credit for the toughness, and I think that's part of that quarterback meeting room. Connor Halliday was like that. Luke Falk is like that. The quarterbacks at Texas Tech were like that. Graham Harrell, who's on this staff, was like that when he was a player for Mike Leach. But if I'm here on third down, I'm going to the top. I'm going to number 9, Gabe Marks against Cedric Dozier.
Well, he's been the third down guy all afternoon. 4 passes he has caught for first downs. Instead, they go to Dom Williams here. He's one of the most prolific scorers through the air. Washington State history. First down for Washington State, down at the Cal 6. When is Cal defense? It's got to be demoralizing to see this happen after the momentum had swung their way.
Well, it's pretty simple, right? You don't get penetration on the quarterback. This is a long drive. They're taking their time, and you get isolated at the cornerback position where Cal, it looks as though they're playing some of their second-team guys. Cedric Dozier, he hasn't gotten as much play as he had a year ago. He's been getting work a little bit on the outside.
First and goal for Falk. Handoff to Priester. Immediately he's knocked down at the 5-yard line. Karen Priester was dismissed from the Clemson program after just one game, one season last year. Did not have to sit out because of the rarely used runoff clause in the NCAA. So they waived that, and he was able to play immediately for Washington State.
The thing that's happening now with Priester is when he's in the game, you got to know. You got to call out, where's number 1? There's number 1. It's going to happen throughout the rest of the season because every time he's in, it's as though the play is dictated for him.
Wicks at 224 pounds alone back. Falk will go through the air. Ball tipped and nearly caught at the back of the end zone. They were looking to the back of the end zone to Marks.
Hey, that's a great play. We just talked about Cedric Dozier, how he was getting challenged and beat a couple times by Gabe Marks. Look at him close on that ball. That's an impressive job. And at the cornerback position, you need 2 things. 1, a short memory, and 2, some confidence in man-to-man coverage. If you don't have those, you're in trouble. They didn't have it a year ago. He got beat on this drive on 2 passes. He comes right back. That's an impressive job by number 37, Cedric Dozier.
Third and goal. Falk surveys the scene, throws a fade route to the far side. Dozier down there in coverage. Touchdown, Washington State. Gabe Marks gathers it in. Marks with his 3rd touchdown reception of the year. What a beautifully thrown ball that was by Luke Falk.
Well, what's the phrase? If you don't succeed, try again. They go right back to number 9, Gabe Marks. And I'll tell you what, Dozier, that's great coverage. I mean, he's right there. You're going up against a gifted receiver, understands body positioning. The throw is perfect. They teach you at quarterback to put it on the back pylon. The pylon's still laying down. It was such a perfect throw.
How good has Luke Falk been this afternoon? How about 4 for 4 on 3rd down on that drive alone? Here's the extra point added, and Washington State comes right back to take a 28-20 lead.
Luke Falk has been absolutely surgical. Coming back, Washington State still in command.
Washington State has taken the lead at 28-20, 6:29 to go, 3rd quarter. Gabe Marks catching a touchdown pass from Luke Falk. 15 plays, 79 yards, and the 4-yard completion. The fade to the far pylon. Marks with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. So now the Bears will get the ball back. Trevor Davis has a shoot and is tripped up as he glides to the 30-yard line. We'll see what Cal has in store here midway through the third when we come back on the Pac-12 Network. The Cardinal, Kevin Hogan, we know he's ready to go. I mean, he can play with one leg. Snap, bobbled by Jared Goff, throws this one away. And Cal will burn it down there as Goff just unable to take that snap to the chest. Brings up second down.
Just drops the snap. Offensive line just getting pushed back right into him. Just try to not make a bad play worse.
Well, Sonny Dykes told Lewis Johnson at the close of the first half, we just need to execute and do what we do. We've got things available to us. We just have to take advantage. Steven Anderson makes a catch and a gain of 7 or 8 on the play.
I'll tell you what, the juice that Washington State's defensive line is playing with would make you think it's a home game. Look at him come off the ball. This is 2 straight snaps, just completely dominating the line of scrimmage, forcing Jared Goff to throw in a cluttered pocket. Now, he can thrive in a cluttered pocket, but it's never easy for a quarterback there.
3rd and 3. Goff, quick look inside. And Lawler hammered at the 50. The ball is loose. Washington State is on it. Kenny Lawler had it and had his knee gone to the turf before he juggled it. Doesn't look like it. Shalom Luani with the stop, and Pippins picked it up off the turf.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We're obviously going to go look at that replay, but Shalom Luani follows in. He's a big-time JC safety. They love him, and it's off coverage, easy completion. Luani with the big hit coming from American Samoa, a really gifted athlete, was thrown into the starting role literally from the moment he got on campus. Pippins falls right on it. He's been around the ball all afternoon. And obviously they're looking to see if that knee was down, and it wasn't. Washington State taking over here.
They sure do. Boy, they have once again seized the momentum since their botched attempt at a fake field goal that turned into 7 points for California. Cougs take possession. And Falk immediately goes to work. Throwing it down the far sideline into the sunshine, complete to Gabe Marks with 2 men on him, and he's down inside the 15-yard line.
Cal decides to play single high defense, man-to-man coverage on the outside. Darius White, that ball is dropped in beautifully. You want to talk about being surgical. You want to talk about playing beyond the X's and O's. That is picturesque.
Gabe Marks having a sensational afternoon, making one critical catch after another. Falk again back to throw. And that's maybe the worst throw he has had today, as he just threw that one low of the sliding receiver.
And he knows
Gerard Wicks. Hey, he's had a nearly flawless afternoon.
Well, we had a chance to talk to him this week and asked him how he prepared. He said, Wednesday nights, I stop watching film. I just put the brakes on all the tape. And then I start to visualize the game. And he has an assistant coach literally record the plays and the scripts and the scheme they're going to operate in. And then he listens to it and visualizes it lying down in bed every single night throughout the day.
2nd and 10, angles a pass near side. Dom Williams, big receiver, up top, off his fingertips. Darius Allensworth was there, but was on the turf, and the ball a little too high.
And that's a touchdown you usually see getting made. But Dom Williams has made this play a no call with the contact, letting them play down there when the ball's in the air. But this is backyard football right here. It's man-to-man coverage again on 3rd down. Luke Falk, I'm going up top to Gabe Marks.
27 of 38, 296 today, and a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. Falk is back. Hard rush and knocked down at the 25-yard line. A blue streak. That was Stephen McClure, came in to get him.
An incredible job of number 21. You'll see this young man, your bottom left corner. He's just going to kind of sneak in. All of a sudden, boom, he's going to come out of a cannon like he's up at the top of the hill overlooking Memorial Stadium. And away he goes. And Stephen McClure, that's a great job of disguising. They think it's man coverage. They think he's going to play the running back. Boom, he pumps in for the blitz.
Eric Powell will size this one up from 40 yards out. Powell 5 of 6 this year. And that one is way off. And so the Bears hold, trailing 28-20. 7 sacks on the afternoon. The Cal Bears get it back. Following the game, it's the Sonic postgame report. Anthony Herron, Curtis Conway, Nick Aliotti, and Ronnie Lott standing by in our Pac-12 Network studios. It's the Sonic postgame report coming up next. Along with Lewis Johnson down on the field. Yogi Roth, Kevin Calabro with you here in Berkeley. Khalfani Mohammed will take the ball, and he's got green grass ahead across the 40-yard line and then into the second level. Here he is, finally tripped up. Cal trying to get their running game re-established. Isaac Dotson came up from the nickelback position to get Mohammed.
Well, it's the explosiveness that you see on film. When you talk to the staff, this is what Mohammed can do.
On first down, they go back to Mohammed, who again picks up some yardage. Gain of maybe 4 on the play. Dotson again with the stop.
And if I'm Cal, I wouldn't be surprised to see them create a little tempo here. They really haven't had a rhythm all game long. Sonny Dykes referenced it at halftime when he talked to Lewis Johnson on the field.
Jared Goff back to throw, takes what's available, and that's an underneath to the sideline. Bryce Treggs, always dependable, playing in his 38th career game, the junior. His dad Brian played here in the late 80s. He has came in with 163 Cal receptions. It's just 4 behind his dad. Vic Inweri now in the backfield for Cal. On first down. Play action. Pass over the middle. Complete to the big man, Steven Anderson. He's inside the 30-yard line. Well, Yogi, they told you in meetings earlier this week that they wanted to target Anderson more, and they have done that with effectiveness.
Oh, it's beautiful. They go 3-by-1 formation. He's at the tight end to the wide side of the field up against a linebacker. It's man-to-man coverage, and he beats him on a simple crossing route.
2:52 left in the third. Falk goes to work. Throws it to the near side. And the pass is complete to Darius Powell. We got a block over on the edge from Kenny Lawler to spring him for a few more yards.
This is when they're at their best. Jared Goff playing point guard right now. Dishing it, dinking and dunking it. Now all of a sudden you've got man-to-man coverage at the bottom of the screen against Kenny Lawler in the red zone.
Goff looking toward the end zone. Pass complete. Lawler makes the catch and a touchdown. And what a sensational catch that was by Lawler. That may have been better than the first one he made. The one-handed touchdown grab earlier this afternoon. Take a look.
The one-handed touchdown, he does that all the time. This is insane because it's the concentration, the focus, a defender right on you and getting it in bounds. To me, the awareness of the sideline, Jared Goff, he looks to his left, understands his man-to-man coverage. They did not bail to have a safety over the top like they had in the past. He comes back to Kenny Lawler all the way down the right sideline and puts it on the back shoulder. Great throw, execution.
And obviously will be reviewed. Take a look at home.
I mean, this is how you teach a back shoulder throw. He's in.
1-2. 1-2. There it is.
I mean, I hope everybody appreciates the throw because he goes from left all the way to the right, still makes a back shoulder throw on time. That's the unique arm talent of Jared Goff, the unique ball placement of Jared Goff, and then the 6 skills of number 4. And Casey, they call themselves the nasty wideouts because of plays like that.
Well, that's 8 touchdowns now for the year, second of the afternoon. Came in number 1 in the Pac-12.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Just needed 1 landing gear in. He got it. He actually had 2 in.
And you know, there's no way to stop that. You know, that's just a back shoulder throw. It's like the throw earlier to Gabe Marks on the right sideline when he's covered. These receivers here are gifted. If you're a wideout, if it's Curtis Conway back in our studio or anybody watching at home, This is a clinic from wide receivers in terms of route running and making plays on the ball when it's in the air.
Now, the Cal Bears looking to tie the ball game and a 2-point conversion. 28-26, 2:21 to go in the third. Goff will roll out, hard rush, he turns, nearly brought down, still on his feet, throws into the end zone, and it is picked off, and it's a free ball. It will be run back by Washington State, and a man near to the sideline is going to really concern a lot of people across the 45-yard line. A terrific catch in the end zone and return, but there is a flag on the play. People here holding their heads as the ball was picked off by Luani.
After the interception, illegal block in the back, receiving team. The penalty is declined by rule. The try is no good.
So Washington State stops them, and in the meantime, Kenny Lawler is helped off the field over to the Cal bench.
Check out what they're trying to do. They're trying to run the old delay. You'll see it here. I believe that's Darius Powell. He's just going to dive, fall on the ground. You see him just fall. You're trying to lull the defense to sleep. They don't do a great job of staying home. There's no throwback for Jared Goff. Obviously, there's pressure in his face. He just throws it up to make a play. Shalom Luani with the interception, and a big save by the Cal offense for not allowing Luani to return that one for 2.
And Lawler is shaken up on the play, being attended to over there, but appears to be okay. In the meantime, Luani with a heads-up play after things had broken down. Ivan McLennan, the senior from Hawthorne, California, was after Jared Goff. Goff was still able to elude his grasp and find a man in the end zone, or at least a target.
Well, he's sneakily athletic. The thing that's scary is when you throw a pick as a quarterback, you're taught to A, retreat, and B, put your head on a swivel, because that's when the opposing team, that's when they're looking to get a shot.
Onside, was it touched? Ball goes to the far side, went 10 yards. Ball was picked up by Darius Powell. It looks like Cal's got it. Well, we are liable to see anything here in the remaining minutes of this ball game. 2:21 left in the third, and the indication is that Cal has the football back.
Oh, special teams coordinator Mark Tommerdahl, you got to give him credit. Nobody saw this coming. They go surprise onside. Darius Powell falls on it. They saw something they liked all the way on the outside. There was a big gap there. Goff's fired up. And you can finally feel a little momentum, a little energy here in Memorial Stadium.
Now, give credit to Matt Anderson, the kicker, Yogi, who I don't think he could have thrown that any better than he kicked it.
And he struggled today, right? You missed the PAT.
Yep.
Then at the end of the first half, he kicks it out of bounds, gives Washington State good field position, and they're going to review this. But I mean, think about it. This is a game. Everyone talking coming into the game is the offense. First half, we're talking about the defense. We've seen some unique special teams play as well throughout this game. For Cal fans, traditionally in their favor. It's completely legal in terms of recovery. The thing they're going to find out is if he had control of the ball when he's in bounds. He went the proper distance. Anderson's fired up. Kickers always have unique celebrations. So it's going to be hard to overturn it. See if he has the control inbounds.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Cal.
And that's frustrating for Mike Leach and his staff. Special teams, such a big part of the narrative a year ago, and that great game that we were lucky enough to call. This one, the fake punt, gets returned for a touchdown by Stephen McClure. Surprise onside, recovered by Darius Poe.
Khalfani Mohammed again in the backfield for Cal. Looks like Mohammed will, and Weary will be finishing this game. Lasco did start in the first half. Back to throw is Goff. Here to Mohammed, one-on-one. He'll make you miss. Shifty moves, 40, 35, 30. What a terrific run after the catch. Khalfani Mohammed threading his way through 5 defenders to get down there and do excellent field position.
Just look at how many guys he makes miss. Whoop, there's one. Later, there's 2. Sidestep 3, 4, 5. About 6 guys that take him down. I mean, this is a guy who averages 10.7 yards per touch.
On first down, they go to the big man, Victor Nweri, 230 pounds. He bangs away at that line.
I think something that isn't talked about enough for really both of these teams, but Cal specifically here, is the group of running backs to play, the group where the receivers play. There's not a lot of selfishness going on, and at skill positions usually see that. How many touches can I get? I want to find my rhythm. This is a team where his offense wants to be in rhythm with a variety of different players.
And Nweri catches it out of the backfield and is knocked out of bounds near the 25 by Jeremiah Allison, who's averaging nearly 10 tackles a game coming into this game, the senior from Dorsey High School in Los Angeles. Cachet Palacio down there as well. Trey Watson now is in the backfield. 5'10" scat back here on 3rd and 7 for the Cal Bears.
Don't be surprised to see a screen here. There's been a big, heavy pass rush by the defensive front of Washington State.
Treggs and others flanked to the left of Jared Goff, who will throw underneath. Pass complete. Oh, look at that sleight of hand. Maurice Harris, the senior, the old dude, with his 7th career touchdown of his career here in California, which has been an interesting one to say the least. Maurice Harris wide open.
Well, we talked in the last couple snaps, and you saw it on film. A big, aggressive pass rush. And people talk about the Cal offensive line. A lot of times they pass, sit, and run plays. They retreat. That's the scheme that they use up front. But when that happens, it opens up the inside screen game. They've done it countless times throughout the season, countless times since Tony Franklin's been the offensive coordinator. They run it there. Maurice Harris makes you pay with his athleticism for a touchdown.
And Cal wants to put 2 more on the board with 42 seconds left here in the 3rd. Leading by 4. Goff is back to throw. Back shoulder throw to the far side of the end zone. And we're saying he was out of the end zone. Bryce Treggs, incomplete. So the extra point is missed.
Run a little corner route. It's a pylon throw. They pass it off. I'll tell you what, that didn't look really clear to me. That left foot might be in. You can see Sonny Dykes trying to get the officials' attention. When we take a look at the touchdown, this is beautiful execution. You'll see Maurice Harris just come up and come right back, and then he's going to find his lane. And watch the offensive line do a great job of identifying who they want to go after and putting a body on a body. And that is a key in this screen game. You've got to identify who you're going after from the offensive line standpoint and give a lane to your receiver. And I got to love what Tony Franklin did. He saw the pressure coming. His offensive line wasn't handling it very well. Okay, let's take their momentum and try to use it against them with the screen. That's exactly what they did.
Now the officials will confer, and it seems as if Sonny Dykes may get his replay call here.
Well, keep in mind, every play is right. Reviewed. So the way that it works is somebody up in the press box on the officiating staff, they say, they kind of give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down literally on the field.
Did he have possession? Looked like he did.
I thought that was...
Timeout, Cal. Their first charge timeout of the half. 30 seconds in length.
Look at that. Ball, there's the foot. I mean, to me, That's complete.
That's possession.
He's got control of the ball.
All the way to the ground.
Front shoulder roll, yeah. I thought that was really quick. And the way that it works, literally, the officials look to the sideline, and they get a thumbs up or thumbs down from the replay official down on the field, who's getting it from upstairs in the booth. And they're looking at a variety of different angles. All the angles we have, plus 2 more.
They've determined that it does not count. So Cal leads 32-28, coming from behind. 42 seconds left here in this third quarter.
Wow. Well, here we go.
And they apparently are going to look again.
Well, I think they should, you know.
Yep.
And this year, new head of officiating, David Coleman in the Pac-12 conference. They've done, in my opinion, a really nice job all year long. A lot of criticism the last couple seasons. And this is good. You know, hey, at first they didn't think it. From here up in the booth, you thought he was out of bounds as well, but the closer look, to me.
And a great timeout call by Sonny Dykes, as it turns out, possibly.
That's right, and he
Here
still
you go.
has his challenge. And I'll tell you what, that's a perfect throw. Incredible route.
Really was.
Great concentration on the catch. I mean, Washington State, they're playing kind of a match coverage where they're passing guys off, do a nice job on defense. But we've seen it for both secondaries. We saw it a year ago. There's no defense for a perfect throw.
After review, the the receiver completed the catch inbound. The try is good.
Wow.
Cal
So Sonny Dykes calls the timeout, brings the referee over. They do another review out there, Yogi, after, like you say, initially it didn't appear that they were going to allow that to stand, and you can see from the replay that was a completed catch.
Well, no, number one, great job by the officiating crew taking
Yes.
their time on that.
Right.
Number two, awesome job by Sonny Dykes getting after the officials to make sure that they took a look at it again.
So Dykes using a timeout. Cal has a 6-point lead. Tavares Martin Jr. is back, juggled it in the end zone, and is able to secure it. Touchback, they'll bring it to the 25. Well, let's take a look at the Heisman Watch, presented by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Well, obviously it's early, but a lot of people playing well. Leonard Fournette, he's just been silly. I mean, he really has. When you watch him on film, an incredible story about this young man coming out of the Louisiana community. Deshaun Watson, fired up to watch him play Notre Dame tonight. I've been talking about him since week 1. I think he's a special player, will make his way to New York. Jared Goff, you got to give him the credit. I mean, he has been playing, in my opinion, better than any quarterback in the entire country. And Trayvon Boykin, just a blowout massacre today against Texas. They put it on him. But to me right now, as a football junkie, there's 2 quarterbacks that are must-see television. One's Aaron Rodgers. The other one's been Jared Goff through the first month of the season. In college football, in the NFL, they're really talented guys when they're in command.
Luke Falk now playing from behind will head here to the near side, where he finds the very dependable Gabe Marks, who's just been time and again totally dependable. 9 catches, 130 yards. Jared Goff rests along the sideline for Cal. Goff with a 6th career game with 4+ touchdown passes. That's the first type of game he has had this year. Harrington in the backfield for Washington State. Falk will air it out to the near side. Getting under it, Dom Williams tight-roping the near side, and he ran out of room and is out of bounds out near the 20.
Cedric Dozier flips corner spots, playing on the other side. And you'll see right at the end, a little contact. You see the right arm of Dom Williams just a little bit, and Cedric Dozier after the catch, he's going right to the official saying, come on, man, look at that. But that's a great job by Dom Williams as a technician, as a wide receiver.
Quarter ends. Cal on top, 34-28. But Washington State has Luke Falk playing as sharp a football as he has played since coming to Bowman. Well, let's take a look now at the Red Vines. Sweet moment.
Well, this is just another day at the office for Kenny Lawler, that one-handed grab, but this is what he does. We've seen him do it time and time again. Triple X gloves, making plays. But this is the one I love. Full read, by Jared Goff all the way from one side of the field, but the other drops an absolute dime piece to the back shoulder. And Kenny Lawler, that to me is graduate level, and that, my friends, was sweet.
Full house backfield. Jared Wicks knocked down near the 30-yard line. That was on first down for Washington State. Jonathan Johnson, along with Tony Macari, coming up to make the stop for the Cal Bears, leading here by 6. River Craycraft and Gabe Marks are lined up here to the near side.
And I'm working that side of the field all day long.
That is the wide side of the field. Luke Falk checks there, throws underneath here to the near side to Marks. They want to get him one-on-one. He's tripped up, ball loose. Cal's got it. Down at the 20-yard line. Looked like it had been popped free, and Michael Barton looked like he jumped on it. But then did he secure it once he went to the turf? That's the question. Cal's got it. They were +6 turnover margin coming into this game, the Cal Bears. That's huge. That means you're getting it 6 more times than you're turning it over during the year. Coming in with 9 interceptions, 5 fumbles recovered, and forcing 5 turnovers a weekend ago against Washington. I don't think that was forced, though.
Well, Darius White, an incredible job. He's trying to be balanced, make a tackle. He gets shook by Gabe Marks, but he puts that right arm out and literally tackles the football. It springs it loose. An opportunistic job by Art Kaufman, the defensive coordinator in Cal defense.
Bears take it back, leading by 6. They go to the ground. Mohammed is tackled around the shoe top behind the line of scrimmage. 17 takeaways this year for Cal, and Marks is the latest victim of the very aggressive Cal defense. That, by the way, equals the total yield of last year's defense, Yogi. 17 takeaways total last year. 17 here in game 5. On second down, Goff checks left, looks right, pressured, throws to the far boundary and threw it away.
Washington State, another nice job of showing one defense pre-snap, jumping to another defense post-snap. There was nothing there. Again, they played that cover 2 look, 2 deep safeties, 2 corners in the flats. Nowhere for Jared Goff to go as he threw it away.
Robert Barber, the nose tackle from American Samoa, a junior. With the pressure, he'll check out. And they rotate freshmen in here on 3rd and 11 for Cal, and here to the near side. Boy, that was surgical. Bryce Treggs knew exactly where he needed to get, and Goff throws a pass to the near boundary. That's a first down.
Well, this is a really impressive job by Trevor Davis. You're going to see him just run off the corner here. And when he does that, that is just going to pull the corner just enough so Jared Goff can drop an absolute dime in front of the corner against that cover 2 look. Those are the little things that allow receivers to separate from other guys around the country. To me, that's a great understanding of the game for Trevor Davis.
Goff knocked down as soon as he got the snap. Palacio was there, I mean, right on the snap.
This is almost too easy. Palacio in there. Hercules Mataafa is in there. And the problem, remember, this Cal offensive line, at times, they set back. So you're retreating a little bit already off the bat. And the defensive front, the front 3, front 4 of Washington State, they've been playing with a motor all afternoon.
Jared Goff is back, shuffles his feet, throws to a curling receiver. Coming back to get it, Trevor Davis. Davis down near the 30-yard line. Brings up 3rd now and long, 3rd and 9.
Well, Washington State's probably going to play a form of cover 2. So that means Jared Goff's going to have to utilize his eyes to manipulate the linebackers, the defenders in between the hashes.
Goff on 3rd and 9, fakes the handoff. Hard rush and got pinched, knocked down at the 20. He didn't have a chance. Matafa'a again is there. The redshirt freshman, Hercules Matafa'a.
Well, it's pretty easy. They bring one more than there's a defense for. No pass protection from the running back position. Vic and Wary, he wasn't anywhere to be found. Instantly in Jared Goff's lap, takes the sack.
That's the second sack of the game for Washington State, all coming in this series for Cal. And so after they get the turnover, Washington State's defense again shuts them down. There's a punt that checks near the 42, so Washington State will have excellent field position. Trailing by 6 on the road. Welcome back to Berkeley. 34-28, California leading Washington State. 11:04 to go here in the fourth. Tuesday night, it's Inside Pac-12 Football on Pac-12 Network. This Tuesday, the panel of experts reveal the top 10 wide receivers and tight end finalists for the all-century team inside Pac-12 Football Tuesday at 8 on Pac-12 Network. The running backs were revealed by our panel last week, and USC dominated. Of course, the Cal representative, Chuck Muncie. Let's jump back in the Wayback Machine, shall we? Look at Muncie. He just looks mean, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to tackle big number 42. Just lowering the boom, rocking the glasses inside the helmet.
How about the wide pads, too?
It's called intimidation. That's what that is right there.
Washington State goes back to work. They are trailing by 6. It's been a wild second half. We've seen a lot of interesting plays go down. Kyron Priester makes the catch. Priester's been active today with a carry and a couple of passes received. Transfer from Clemson. Will figure, I'm guessing, prominently in the future of Washington State. We'll see more and more of him. 2nd and 11 now for Washington State. Marks is the man of motion through the formation. Falk throws over the top, and that one off the fingertips of Keith Harrington, coming free out of the backfield. Well, let's go down to the field. Lewis Johnson with a note on Washington State's defense.
Yeah, Kevin, the defense down here is fired up in the bench area. They're happy to get these defensive stops, but the coaches are talking up not only getting stops, but they need to create a couple of turnovers to try and get the ball back and get a couple of extra possessions. Meanwhile, you talk about confidence. Luke Falk really shows that when he's in the bench area, and he told us this week that if you don't have confidence in yourself, how are you going to instill it in others? And no matter the situation, they can expect to see the same guy. That's what Leach preaches to him all week, be the same guy. That's what he's trying to do right now.
3rd and 11 here, and he throws near side to Marks, who wanted a PI. He won't get it. Darius White was there along with Kyle Cragen, and it was Cragen who had the pressure actually on the quarterback, and now comes limping off the field.
Well, thrown up into double coverage, the secondary of Cal all over Gabe Marks. I think if I'm Cal right now, if we lose this game, it's not going to be because number 9 is making a play on us in the passing game.
Flag on the play as Zach Charme lifts it high into the air, and this one will settle down inside the 20, rolling back near the 15 of the Cal Bears. And we'll sort out the penalty. You know, the penalty is on the Cougars.
If I'm Cal, I'm having him kick it again.
And the ball was set near the 15. Let's see.
Offside, defense. The penalties declined. 1st down. Timeout.
Chuck Muncie delivering a blow. The Cal Bears on top by 6. Pac-12 football is presented by Bank of the West and by Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and college football. It's a one-of-a-kind tradition. Well, it is homecoming here in Berkeley, California. The number 24 Cal Bears off to a 4-0 start. They haven't been 5-0 since 07. Right now they've got the lead. They've got the leather. 34-28 count. Goff back to throw here in the 4th quarter. This is Khalfani Mohammed coming out of the backfield. The pass complete. And he spun down near the 25-yard line, just shy of the 1st down.
Both of these coaches, they love utilizing the check down in their run game. They worked together at Kentucky for a minute, and obviously Sonny Dykes on Coach Leach's staff at Texas Tech. And it's been fun to watch their offenses evolve. You know,
Yep.
Mike Leach and his air raid. Sonny Dykes, you know, he went to Arizona under Mike Stoops, really started implementing a lot of the run game into his system. This is going to be a fun rivalry, clearly, in the Pac-12.
Goff takes the high snap, hands to Muhammad, cuts back, gets to the second level. He's across for the first down out near the 29-yard line. Well, Daniel Lasco got the start this afternoon after an absence of 2 games because of a hip muscle problem that he had. Lasco was unable to, with that same type of burst, get to it across that line of scrimmage. They had 28 yards on the ground in the first half. And Weary and Muhammad really have carried the ball here in the second half for Cal. Lasco 10 carries, 22 yards. And Washington State stout up front. Allison comes in to make the stop right at the point of attack on Khalfani Muhammad. So Yogi, that brings up second down for the Cal Bears.
And that's been the hidden storyline, right? The lack of run game for Cal. And Washington State, you talk to coaches around the country in the Pac-12, the defensive line has always been ridiculously respected in the job they've done in that department.
Vic Inwary in the backfield, and the flag flies, and this is against
False start.
California.
Offense number 1. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Look, this is going to come down to execution at the end of the day. I mean, here we are, 8:29 left in the ball game. It's clearly a close matchup. Which team is going to execute? Sonny Dykes talked about it at halftime. Mike Leach talked about it at halftime. In critical downs and distances, can you remain disciplined?
So it brings up 2nd and 16. Let's see what Tony Franklin, the offensive coordinator of Cal, has dialed in here. They'll drop Goff back. Hard rush, knocked down. Ball knocked free. Ball is loose. It's down to the 5-yard line. It's up for grabs. Inside the 5-yard line, it looked like the Bears got on it. What next, you ask? Exhibit A.
Well, the edge rushers of Washington State, they've been doing anything they've wanted all day. Aaron Cochran, the left tackle, Stephen Moore, the right tackle for Cal. They've gotten beat time and time again. A really nice job of this defensive front this entire drive.
So it's 3rd and 36, and the ball resting at their own 4-yard line. They'll hand off to Inwary. Inwary busts free to the 20, on his feet, regains balance, 30, 35, 40, still on his feet, and a first down. Highly improbable. No flags. 36 yards on homecoming.
First guy to greet him, Daniel Lasco on the sideline.
Oh my God. Have you seen anything like that lately? Come on.
No.
7 minutes left. Goff goes to work far side. And it is Anderson who makes the catch. And he's near a first down.
It's a simple inside zone play. And number 23 does the absolute rest. This is just an effort play by Vic Inwary. We say it all the time around here. How great is ball? Well, how great is ball, my friend? Oh, my golly. Here we are in the 4th quarter.
Well, let me set it up again. It was 3rd and 36, and he goes 42 yards for the first down. Here's Goff unloading to the far side. And the pass complete. Darius Powell is over across for a first down. Oh, and if you're Washington State, you had Goff bottled up, ball's batted free, it's loose inside the 5-yard line. It was just sitting there, and Cal jumps on it. And then they take advantage of you, obviously, for a 42-yard gallop by Victor Inwary. 1st and 10. Goff again pressured. He'll step out of the pocket and get across the line of scrimmage and gain a couple on the play.
That's a nice job by the defense of Washington State. Again, they sky to a different coverage. They bring a safety down, Taylor Taliulu. He takes away Steven Anderson. Jared Goff had nowhere to go with the ball. He's trying to get something out of nothing.
On 2nd and 8, Jared Goff with 5:25 remaining. And for these two teams, that's an eternity. Goff pressured again, spun, straightens, and unloads here to the near side. And Khalfani Mohammed wrestles his way near the 35-yard line or so.
Well, how about the defense in front of Washington State? They just keep coming and coming. And then Jared Goff, we watched him as a true freshman. He's fallen to the ground if that happens. Even last year, he's so much stronger, so much more confident. The pocket spins out. Just a quick little check down. And they're now in third and 4.
Mataafa thought he had him. Then he broke free. Brings up 3rd and 4. Goff throws far side, and that was underthrown. And guess who was there? Marcellus Pippins. And if Pippins grabs the leather yogi, he's gone.
Well, I'm surprised that Jared Goff keeps trying to make this throw. Again, they're playing that cover 2 look. It doesn't look like it in pre-snap, but post-snap, that's what they're doing. The corner is dropping down. Look at him. You see Pippins, whoop, I'm going to play the flats. He's sitting right there. Jared Goff's lucky that's a poor throw, because if not, that might be a pick 6.
4th and 4, ball at the 35-yard line. Goff's going to check to the far side. 0 for 2 today, 4th down situation, 6 of 8 coming in. Goff is back, man comes free out of the backfield. It's Nweri, but he's going to get chopped down by a couple of defenders out in front of the Cal bench. Marcellus Pippins over there again. He's had a heck of a ball game. 4:38 remaining in the 4th. Washington State will get it back on downs, trailing by 6. Stick around. Following the game, the Sonic postgame report. Anthony Herron, Curtis Conway, Nick Aliotti, and Ronnie Lott standing by in the Pac-12 Network studios from San Francisco. The Sonic postgame report coming up next. Luke Falk goes to work for Washington State, throws over the middle. Dom Williams to completion, and he's across for the first down.
I just love how Luke Falk just walks down the field with a presence about himself. You know, he understands his zone coverage. Dom Williams understands his zone coverage. He sits down. He completes the pass. Dom Williams gets north and south, doesn't dance around. Business as usual. 1st and 10.
Kyron Priester is back in. Falk on 1st down. Pass complete over the middle. And it was Priester who made the grab. Luke Falk has been absolutely razor sharp today. 2nd and 8, down 6. 3:47 remaining in the ball game. Here comes Cal, bringing 5. Falk fakes, throws over the middle, zips a pass down the near side, and it is intercepted. An outstanding grab made over the shoulder. Falk pressured in the pocket, looking for the bundle right down the seam, and it's picked off. Drew with the interception. Demarie Drew, the junior.
Wow. Tyler Baker had a step. Demarie Drew makes the play from the complete opposite side of the field. What an impressive job by this secondary of Cal. They've been tested all game long. They've made plays. They've been opportunistic. This is 2 weeks in a row where this secondary has stepped up against a talented quarterback.
Bears get it back on 1st and 10. 3:29 remaining. They'll go to the ground, and Nweri with it.
Okay, so here's the deal for Cal, right? Every Cal fan is saying, every critic is saying, we want to see our team be able to finish. Can they run the ball, the old school 4-minute offense? We're going to find out. And this is an offensive line that has traditionally been able to run the ball well throughout the season. They've had a lot of success, struggled today. They're going to have to bow up here against this front 7 of Washington State, which has done extremely well.
Second and 4, and Goff is back. Throwing to Nweri, coming out of the backfield, and That one off the fingertips, incomplete.
And I like that play. I mean, you got to remember the run game for Cal, like Washington State, the swing screens, it's an extension of that. That's what they look at that play as. You've got to just make that connection if you're Jared Goff or Vic and Ware. And this is where you miss Daniel Lasco, because this is where he was great, catching the ball out of the backfield.
Mohammed now will shuttle in for Cal on 3rd and 4. Pass complete to Steven Anderson, who's been a frequent target this afternoon. He just sits down across the 20-yard line. That's good for a first down for the Cal Bears.
Well, offensive coordinator Tony Franklin calls Steven Anderson their best all-around player. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball.
Now the Cougars have got to make something happen here defensively with 2:30 remaining.
This is where Jared Goff has to be masterful, understanding and dominating specific situations. The clock, the situation where pressure's coming from, not taking a sack, throwing the ball away at times.
4-touchdown afternoon for Goff with 378 yards. Quick hitter up the middle, and Mohammed is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And a timeout with 2:05 remaining.
Well, when you look at Jared Goff, according to Pro Football Focus College and his ranking, it's the tops in the country. And the reason is he's usually making proper decisions. And the way that they break this thing down is that every snap gets a -2, -1, a 0, a 1, or a +2. And it's all based on looking at their job and their responsibility and if they do it. So, for instance, if he just completes a pass to an open receiver, that's a 0. But if he plays beyond the X's and O's, if he looks off one coverage and comes back outside, or like he did on that conversion earlier for the first down to Steven Anderson, looks outside, comes inside, that's where he'll get an increased score. Today, he struggled. Where he can win this game for his offensive coordinator, Tony Franklin, is being masterful right here with 2:05 left, with Washington State having 2 timeouts.
Second and 10, and the ball resting on the 22. For Goff. Pressure. Throws over the middle. Ball incomplete. It was intended to Anderson. And Peyton Pallure was there to spin him around. Good stop by Pallure. Made contact just as the ball had arrived.
Now here's where Alex Grinch has got to make a decision on this 3rd down. Is he going to bring pressure like he did on that last snap, force Jared Goff to get the ball out of his hand, or is he going to show one look and play cover 2 like he's done throughout this game? In my opinion, I'm bringing heat, forcing my guys to make a play and get the ball out of number 16's helmet.
3rd and 10, they show 4 across the front. They bring it. Ball, or I should say Goff steps up, sidesteps a man and throws to the near side, complete to Trevor Davis. That was masterful. Jared Goff looked like things were shutting down on him.
Well, this is why he's projected as the top quarterback in the country. It's why he's on our Heisman list. This is called beyond the X's and O's, man. You're looking to your right. You're looking for your top 2 receivers. They don't have them. You slide ever so slightly, you put the ball on the money, you get a first down.
With 1:38 remaining.
And you know what's going to happen here, right? You got to run the ball if you're Cal. Washington State take an immediate timeout.
Mohammed knocked down. Clock stops at 1:17 remaining. Well, time now for the Foster Farms play of the game. There were many wild plays here in the second half.
Well, it's the onside kick. Surprise onside. Nobody in the stadium saw it coming. Darius Poe with the recovery. And then, of course, the late interception by Demarie Drew coming all the way across the field to make a huge play late in the 4th quarter, giving Cal an opportunity to seal this game with the ball in their hands, on the ground, trying to be a physical team, which they have prided themselves on throughout this year.
And for Mike Leach and company, Yogi, very few options here left to him.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, you got to try to tackle the football right now. Try to strip it. You can get an opportunity if you stop them here. You'll get a chance to get it back.
Second and 12 now for the Cal Bears. 1:17 left. Mohammed again is summoned. And he leans forward across the line of scrimmage in the gain of a couple on the play. Brings up 3rd and 9. Schedule ahead on the Pac-12 television slate. Arizona State at number 7 UCLA. Oregon at Colorado. Be interesting to see if Oregon can bounce back. And of course the Buffaloes have had this one circled on the calendar. And Arizona State at number 18 Stanford at 7:30 right here on the Pac-12 network.
Well, it's going to be interesting for UCLA because this defense, they've been banged up. And Jayon Brown did not dress for the game tonight. He's a guy that's played a little bit of the Miles Jack spot. He's been able to play a lot of different places for them on defense. And Arizona State, who a lot of us, including myself, picked to win the Pac-12, have been probably the most disappointing team thus far. But they're due for a big game. Can UCLA handle that? I think they do. I think UCLA wins at home.
California here 4-0 on the year, leading by 6 with 1:12 remaining. Mohammed bounces out to the far edge, gets a block, and then cuts it back inside to the 40-yard line. Darius Powell gave him a block that allowed him to slip back inside, and now he's holding his right calf as he gets up now. Actually, the left leg bothered him.
Yeah, here's the challenge. You want to hustle your way off the side of the field so the clock doesn't stop. And there's another player down for Wazoo. And the crowd right now is letting them have it a little bit because I'm sure they're assuming that the student athlete isn't injured and trying to stop the clock. Now, it has happened to Cal throughout this season. It happened, I believe, in the Texas game, late in the ball game. And that's Jeremiah Allison. I'll be honest, I've known Jeremiah since he was 16 years old. That's not his character to fall down. Now, he is one of the smartest players in the entire Pac-12 conference, but I don't see him doing that, in my opinion.
Well, he pops off and comes off the field.
But that's huge. I mean, that's 40 seconds.
4th and 4 with 1 minute remaining. Wow.
Well.
And so Cal going for it on 4th down, the ball at the 40-yard line. They'll let it run down here to turn it over to Washington State with roughly 19 seconds left.
I'm going to call a timeout here, I would assume.
Jared Goff today, well, he was picked off in the first series of downs, and he recovered beautifully from that point on.
Well, how great is Ball? How great is Goff? He starts 3 of 8 with a pick for only 33 yards, and he showcases a no-flinch mentality. 30 of his last 37, 357 yards, and oh, by the way, 4 touchdowns as he sprayed the ball all over the yard. Ridiculous accuracy, and to me, it's been the little things. It's when the pocket has collapsed, because it has pretty much all afternoon. He stayed upright, he's kept his eyes up, he's checked the ball down. To me, you want to talk about dealing with scrutiny, responding to a really poor start, probably the worst start of his last year and a half if you watch him on film. To me, that's big time.
Cole Leininger to punt, hard rush, got it off. Oh, that takes a big-time kick into the end zone and a touchback. So Washington State will have it back with 12 seconds remaining.
Why not, right? I mean,
it took a fortuitous hop, to say the least.
Now, we all know that Cal has been a part of some crazy finales. Specifically, one that you called last year, Cal, Arizona, the Hail Mary at the end of the game. So I'm sure it is on their minds. Knock the ball down, keep it in front of you.
Well, the defense, as you can see, has been very good over the last couple of games at forcing turnovers and holding. Luke Falk, though, what's he have left? Falk back to throw. Across the middle it comes to Dom Williams. Pass complete, knocked down across the 30-yard line. 3 seconds remain and a timeout called. Well, they won't use the timeout here. They're going to move the chains. Stops the clock. They have no timeouts left, and so Washington State now, without any timeouts, one last time. Falk unloads near side. Wicks going to lateral it back. Ball still live. Tip to the ground, recovered by Cal. Ball game over. California wins it 35, make it 34-28 to go 5-0 on the year. Sonny Dykes, Mike Leach looking for one another at midfield. Sonny Dykes 5-0 with this young program in just his 3rd year. Mike Leach in his 4th year with a loss goes to 2-2 on the season.
Well, what an impressive win for Cal. I mean, down 21-13 at the half. Really not a lot of juice in the stadium. They didn't play with a lot of energy. They came out, made some opportunistic plays. Got to talk about what they did on special teams and defense.
Let's go down to the field, and Lewis Johnson standing by with Sonny Dykes.
Well, Coach, for the first time in a long time, you guys are 5-0, but just describe the challenge to getting here today.
Well, you got to give Washington State credit. They played a great game. They came out and really outplayed us most of the game. I tell you what, our defense made a bunch of plays in the 4th quarter. We were really fortunate to win the ball game. But it's the Pac-12. You know, we'll take it. It's hard to win.
Yeah, you know, you guys only had 28 rushing yards in the first half. How did you recover, with, led by Goff, who had the 4 touchdowns, as well as that last drive there?
Yeah, we just struggled all day to run the football, and we got to do a better job, obviously, next week against Utah. Our guys are excited about going and playing against a great team, and we were fortunate to win today. We'll learn a lot from this and play better next week.
You mentioned your defense. 18 turnovers as of Game 5. You only had 17 last year. What does that say about the progress?
Well, they're playing hard. I mean, they're playing hard. They made plays today that allowed us to win the ball game. Really proud of them, and it's a good win for us.
All right, Sonny, thanks very much.
Okay, thanks so much.
Kevin?
All right, Lewis. Well, you got to hand it to Washington State. The defense in the first half was very good. They gave themselves an opportunity to win on the road.
Well, they competed. I mean, this was an incredibly well competed game, in all phases of the ball game. But Cal, like Sonny Dykes said, they just made more plays. Defensively, they're opportunistic. Special teams, the surprise onside was a huge play. And Jared Goff, after a sluggish start, he was ridiculous.
Well, things continue to roll now for Cal. As Sonny mentioned, at Utah, then at UCLA, things become very, very interesting, certainly, for the Cal Bears. And for Washington State, it's back on the road next weekend at Oregon. For Lewis Johnson, Yogi Roth, and our great crew here in Berkeley, I'm Kevin Calabro. Thanks for watching and listening. 34-28 final. Cal over Washington State. California goes 5-0. In a moment, we'll take you to the Sonic postgame report from our San Francisco studios.